You know, obviously, if you're trading anything long, be careful. If there's going to be a mean reversion trade, wait for confirmation. Obviously, the big kahunas are going to take you into the close, and they'll be doing the absolute most in a great way. So for Joseph and I, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Joseph today at the big screen. He'll be covering for me on the afternoon rundown show, guys. See you guys tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to Jerome Powell. If you're short, obviously, but we're short, so that it is what it is. I can tell you that we were kind of just cruising. Look, we were already trending down. Like, let's not get too twisted here. Like, the market was trending to the downside. He's still talking. He just said if there's like they'll supply liquidity to the central banks, and if there's a shortage, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So he's still going through. I think he's trying to. He's probably not watching the market, but he's saying a few more positive things to make it seem not as bad as it is. But the Q's now 3.5% down. Just a quick little recap here. You know what? Let's show the quote board. Forget this. Nvidia 9. This is my quote board. 9% down. Nvidia. Hood 9% down. AMD 8.5. Palantir 8. Tesla 5. Alibaba 5. Broadcom and Affirm both 5%. Intel 4.5. Moderna. Like, it's just a bloodbath at this point. With the Qs now riding on those lows. So if you're short, congratulations. If you're long, maybe you're long like right here. But it's been pretty nasty. I was even in that penny stock that Sharif was trading on a straight just reversion trade, and it just started puking like everything else. So this is one of those markets. And apparently Stuart says, and I'll have you confirm this, Sean, because Brian Chan was on last night. Stuart in the chat just said that Brian was spot on with the SPY prediction.
Oh, yeah, no, he was just saying that I was trying to get him to buy something, and he's just like, the short looks better. But I don't think, shout out to Brian Shannon, but at the end of the day, it's, I don't think it was really rocket science for the short. I mean, we were talking about how, and he even admitted that, it's just like he would rather be short than long. I never thought that we would have two $4 winners today on Apple. So that's over $8 right there taken out on this, and we're pretty proud, obviously, of that trade. As you can hear the way I'm talking, I liked that move, and it looks like it's going to be another pay dirt here for Apple. As there it goes. We put this in the chat there on the midday show. We were talking about where we were short, what we were looking to do, and I was like, I'm short against VWAP here. Even you guys even asked me 198. So we just took this short. This is now 350 cents in the money. And it was about a 30-cent stop. So that's 10 to 1. This is, I know I was saying in the chat, this is a day trader's market, man. I mean, if you're not here to trade, these are the moves that we're getting. We talked about yesterday being pretty calm and everything, just waiting for something to happen. Well, something happened early and something's happening late. So I just kind of want to hold. I mean, if we do get back to the upside, I think we can maybe get out of this around 195, but boom goes the dynamite right there. And lucky, like, I didn't know what was going on. We're getting out at the 200. We're getting out at the 50. We're getting out as it falls back down in, right? Falls into low of the day. Falls even lower than that. So, yeah, we're just going to sit here and relax for a little bit and wait to figure out what's going on with Jerome Powell and crew right here, because for now, the market is just a little downside. And yeah, we're happy to be here to put these trades on. So there it goes again, man. Obviously a positive day. We only have this one trade on, and it's Apple twice. So when you hit it, you don't need to have more trades than that. So boom, boom, nice move to the downside. And as you just mentioned before, everything falling. Like, we could have picked on AMD, which we had on our radar today as well. That's to the downside. All of the banks, JP Morgan and etc. Down. Well, JP Morgan's not as bad, but still downside from where we were earlier today. Look at that move, 232 down to 229, getting hit there as well. So yeah, the SPY could bounce. I mean, you know, we are looking for some bouncing spots here. Where they are, I don't know. So we'll just keep on watching what this market's doing. But that's back-to-back, man. That's a big trade early on Apple, and it looks like we're in the middle of, hopefully, a big trade late. But thanks again for joining us. You know, it's going to be quite the little while here as tariffs and now. I mean, with Okay, the banking system is well capitalized and resilient, says Jerome Powell
What's he gonna
right
say?
now.
It's bad?
So I don't know what he's going to say, to be honest with you, but whatever he has been saying has moved the market down.
It was the prepared comments that were, I think,
Yeah.
spooked everybody, and all of a sudden it seems like he's trying to calm things down a little bit. Someone probably whispered in, I don't know if he wears an earpiece, but they're like, yo, Jerome, man, tanking the market here, or something. Because it seems like he's backing off the ledge. Well, not backing off the ledge, but saying some things that I want to calm some things down. Look, but Bitcoin has been holding out better than most. Bitcoin had been holding out better than most. I have to correct myself there. It was doing such a great job, but this is the depth to which things got nasty. Now, as we come back into the volume-weighted average price, just a quick, I have my eyeballs on Mara as you come in here. So when you were trending up on Bitcoin, Mara was not breaking any fresh highs. So double top, didn't break out the afternoon resistance. So it's relatively weak. Ideally, Bitcoin bounces higher and drags us into the short here. I'll reload Intel at VWAP if we get it. Alibaba, that's another one. I'd probably get one more shot at this. Yeah, I had just gotten out of Alibaba at the low of the day. It had been giving us VWAP all day, right into 107.5, back and forth, over and over. And it seemed like it was about to do the same thing, and then puke is what the market did. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get back into that. Let's see what happens. I don't know how far this bounce is going to be able to take us, but I do want to look to get back into some shorts. I will almost certainly not get into another holo trade because it was just a day-long trend break. One trend break, it broke VWAP. Once it breaks VWAP, I'm just bidding into the low, like this low in here at 41. And my risk was 51 to 52, but I'm not giving it to 52 anymore. Like now if it breaks 48 above VWAP, I just get it all out. So I'm not even thinking break even stop on this. I'll just hold it, see how far it goes down, but my stop is now above the volume weighted average price. Duke says Tesla's at 240. Yes, you are right. And Tesla having a rough day of it.
Nice one, Duke.
Dukes.
The Dukester is in the building. It's been a rough day, and Bitcoin also losing everything, gave back everything it had today. Right now, back into the downside. So it's been pretty nasty. But we do have our good friend Joe ready to go here with our rundown. Let's go see what names you guys want to talk about.
Afternoon rundown. Make sure you join Sharif and I during the midday and vote for those stocks that we get to talk about right now during this segment. First on the docket, we got Nvidia down 9% on the session. Guys, Nvidia shares are trading lower after the U.S. government has now stated that they will need a license to export the H20 chip to China and Hong Kong. Not a good look here for Nvidia. $5.5 billion haircut off of that balance sheet. Let's see what the boys think.
Well, I mean, it feels like, I know it's supposed to say, hey, they don't necessarily have to end up paying that. They're looking for that at Q1 2026, obviously. If no deals get done, it's a big hit. They do 39 billion, let's call it, just under 40 billion, let's just say. It doesn't really matter. It's something around there. I'll double check if. You can always fact check me if you want. But that's a monster. That's a big chunk. It's not nothing. It's putting them under pressure. A deal needs to get done for these guys. Some kind of a relief. I think otherwise your penalty box for all of the chips, man. It's not looking good. That being said, Powell saying Powell just said crypto becoming more mainstream. That's probably good for Bitcoin. But that being said, it was the first thing I was in. And it ran me off the open off the level that I liked at the 106. I didn't go back into it. I went to Alibaba. Difference being, I'll always make this call. Like if something is working, like I look over and if we're holding a high or holding a level and trending down, like that's the one that I'm going to prefer to the short side, not the one that's relatively strong. So I got away from Nvidia to go into two that were cleaner, but it just turned out that Nvidia needed some time. It needed some time, and now you're absolutely bleeding. This is straight up penalty box. I mean, they report earnings obviously in this earnings cycle, but I am certainly, unless we get some kind of, no, that was just one short. That was that first short.
Right,
it was the 930 short, and this is my beef with the 930 trade. I've seen this like time and time again. The best short the pop trades, in my estimation, at least in my experience, have been the ones where like it pops, makes a high, and then you get short. Like after it's already shown you a top, then you go short, and then if it respects that top, then you re-short that high. It's the ones where it's like just going to the upside there. Because if you're like me, where like I don't like holding it against being an upward trend, I find those are the ones that miss. But I'm not even sure where I want to buy Nvidia again on the long term. Like when I was looking at some of the charts, and I had this daily chart up here. Whoops. What's going on? There it is. When you had this chart, I'm pulling it back. It's like back to the 90s, back to 80. Like go back to this in 2024, like 75 to 80. That feels about right if nothing changes. So unless we get some good news, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing an 8 on that name, and then I think that's an obvious buy for Nvidia, or wait till earnings, because you just need something to change here. And like, we could show you the other chip names. I think you've seen the charts. AMD down 9%. Broadcom getting smoked today. Like there's just nobody that's not feeling it.
Yeah, no, I mean, an 8 on Nvidia down 15% from now. We'll see where that can go. I mean, it could be in the next couple of days. But Bitcoin right here, nice move back up as Powell starts talking about BTC. All right, Joe, let's just go on with the next name there. A little Tesla action.
Little Tesla action here, Sean. Adara reported on this here earlier in the day. Tesla California registrations down in Q1, 15.1% from a year ago. Not a good look. And shareholders also demanding answers on full FSD here, guys. Tariffs and brand damage. Not a good look for Tesla. Down about 5 1/5 here, guys.
We reported that down sales number early. It wasn't really doing anything off of that. But now when the market breaks, of course, this has no chance. So Tesla, it was great off the lows. I think we can get back into those levels for sure, 220, 224. You're just going to wait to see what winds up happening right now. Forget about what already has happened. I mean, for me to sit here and talk about what has happened, that's fine. We all have eyes. We can see this chart. But at the end of the day, what you're looking for is what's going to happen next, right? So I would still say we want to be able to short anything against here, this 50-period moving average. We've only broken it once since noon, and that was right here, and then it was whapped right down there by Powell again. So I still think that we really want to look short here on Tesla. It's trying to barcode right now. To me, this 243 is worth it. It's coming back in, so maybe 240, 250, something like that, on a little bit of a bump up there. The Nasdaq still continuously bleeding, as is Apple. It's kind of the same thing until we get back here to 195 and change. We're going to remain short on Apple. So for me, it's kind of the same trade on Tesla. Stay short until it tells you otherwise, and that otherwise would be around here, 240, 250. So yeah, Tesla was not on the radar today for me, so we left it alone. But yeah, it doesn't, these sales numbers and this and that is all one thing, but we got to just get China out. And then once that's through and to figure it out, then and only then can Tesla come back up. So I would say you'd have to wait for more Chinese news. Tesla in the doghouse until we get that. I wouldn't touch this thing no matter what the price. We need to make sure that market is on board with deliveries and no tariffs and all that kind of stuff. Tesla will work, but not until we get that all clear. And when we get that all clear, it will be up 10, 15, 20%. And at least then you know that when you're investing in has a pathway. And right now, I don't see it for Tesla. So it's a short for me until something changes. And I don't really see anything changing right now.
No, I think if nothing changed, I was thinking like 170 to 180. Just go right back to the 2024 higher low, not even the bottom, but the 2024 higher low. It just feels like we're headed there. You can say death cross all you want. The more important thing is the trend down's unabated at this point. It's like we always say like let it cook. Right now it's cooking to the downside. I actually think not much more to add on Tesla. You can see how nasty it looks. I'm not looking to buy it anytime soon. But the comment from Powell, the thinking there'll be loosening in bank rules for cryptos, that's a good headline. BTC was holding up pretty well. Maybe that'll get some life in it if we catch a bit of a bounce here, Joe.
Holding up relatively strong here today. Earlier on the session, Neil, so Bitcoin and Ethereum match decline in stock futures here, still positive on the session, up about 1/3%, but it decided to sell off on that Jerome Powell speech, guys.
cruising on like Bitcoin was cruising. And say you like if anybody that was long Bitcoin. I'm going to show you guys IBIT because then it'll allow me to very cleanly see the daily chart bouncing off that 200. But we go 200 to 50 period and then do a little bit of a curl. What I like about it is the fact that it seemed like we're retesting the high today. So you can maybe throw out 49 as like theoretical resistance. I think we got a really good answer at what was going to happen at that price if we had gotten there today, because it seemed like a really, really big level for BTC. That said, long term, I love what Powell is saying. I have no issues with Bitcoin. I love the fact that in a down market today with uncertainty, it was actually getting bought up. But it's hard to get too far. Like it already bounced here to VWAP. It's hard to want to chase this to the long side. I'm actually thinking the other way. Like yesterday in the afternoon, Mara was relatively strong when Bitcoin was weak. Well, this time it's relatively weak. So just short Mara into pops. If Bitcoin starts breaking out above VWAP, then so be it. Like that'll be an out. But this is hanging off the lows, and the miners are kind of beat up anyway relative to Bitcoin. I would have thought hopefully you get like VWAP at the same time, but you're getting a play off the lows here in Mara. Apparently H&R Block. Tax season.
Yeah, just hearing now, he's H&R Block right now. Trump planning on ending the free tax filing or something through H&R Block, through all services. I don't know.
Oh, that's it?
We'll find out. I don't know. That's I don't know if that's good or bad news for those guys. I don't think maybe bad, but as tax is often filed with software, and you don't even really need to do too much with that. I try to use TurboTax and all that stuff too. So we'll find out more about that story. INTU, Intuit. Let me see. INTU, Intuit. There it is, right there. If you're into it, then I'm into it. And right here, this stock is not really into it. It's just waiting for that story to hit. So I was going to say, man, if we're going to say traders got to trade, then when we heard that note there about Bitcoin, we should have probably jumped right into IBIT, right? And we didn't do that. So I think that's a missed, I don't want to say failed, but a missed opportunity right there to trade that IBIT. But now it's fading right back in. That was nice positive news coming from Powell there saying, looks like it's, talked about stable coins. I don't want to repeat the exact headline because I don't remember it right off the top of my head, but that would have been good enough. I'm just surprised that there was no real volume picking up on some of that talk. So we'll wait, but IBIT does make that move up. And, we were talking about it earlier that it looked like maybe crypto was a little disconnected from the Nasdaq. Well, maybe it's not after all. As there goes the Nasdaq, there goes crypto right to the downside as well. So Nasdaq being down 3% is pretty nasty right now. I'm actually pretty happy with the way crypto and IBIT has been holding up over this whole dump down. So yeah, for me, interesting times ahead. You're still above the 200 period moving average. This is that 76, 77 area. And, if it doesn't hold that, then yeah, I do wonder, where we go after if we do break through and hold underneath the 200 period moving average. We have never closed below that 200 period moving average. And again, remember this is, maybe we did right there on whatever day that is, the 8th. So a week on that crazy day. But at the end of the day, I like IBIT, I like crypto, and I think it's holding. So yeah, for me, it's a buy down there. If you can get it at 76 again, 77, 78, I think it's worth a shot. And hopefully the market will stabilize and we'll get back up to the upside. So yeah, I like it. I still haven't heard too much about that reserve. We'll see what's going on there. I think that would definitely be a nice thing to get finalized.
It's been very quiet.
Yeah, like you mentioned it there. He dropped
that.
like Cardano, XRP, Solana, and all that, and now they're just getting their
I guess they got bigger fish to fry right now.
Yeah, they got some kind of fish to fry. We talked about fish over lunch. That wasn't too bad, that little white fish. A little overcooked in my opinion.
That was my thought. It was fine. It's just a little overcooked.
It was all right. The corn succotash was nice. Okay.
It was pretty good.
Suffering succotash, Joe. How was? Did you eat? You didn't eat yet, eh, Joe? We'll be seeing what Joe's going to be having for lunch a little bit later. I think it was that Cajun chicken coming through. So, I don't hold that much XRP. My horses are with Bitcoin and Cardano, basically.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's what we're doing, and I think we probably have too much Solana, but not enough. When it rips up, I don't have enough, and when it goes down, I have too much. So. That's my crypto story in my life, right there in a nutshell. Because the thing is like if you actually want something to moon, I wonder on a lot of these altcoins if we're now past that like crazy
easy money.
Yeah, like easy money is a good way of putting it. I think now you got to wait for those stories, and I know that Ripple has one with the money decision there. About a form of payment, and we had SEC Commissioner Gensler a long time ago getting out of there. So we're hoping that something can wind up happening here with some of those stable coins and some of those altcoins. But again, like my big fear about all this crypto stuff is there's new administration, and I was just saying this, in 2.5 years, 3 years, we start that whole cycle again of candidates talking about what's going to be a big issue there come, and again, to talk about crypto 3 years from now, I don't know where it's going to be, but that crypto fund could be dissolved. And
if Nancy starts shorting,
oh no, not Nancy,
shorting crypto names, then I'll be worried.
Yeah,
that'll get me worried.
It's
a bit.
Pelosi, I see. All right.
We'll go to Apple in a quick second. I actually had this conversation with a couple of friends who did not. Like they didn't even realize like how rampant. I'm like, there's an ETF with regards to Nancy Pelosi and some of their moves. They're Canadians, right? So maybe they don't follow the U.S. a lot. And I said, yeah, like sometimes you can just look for where quote unquote insiders are buying and selling. And I think I would be a little bit concerned if I saw members of Congress start to not favor crypto stocks. Because I'm waiting for that next piece of good news. I still think you can buy the 70,000, 75,000 level. That's a good one. That's where I'll buy next if we even get there again. Let's talk about the Apple fall. I don't know. I almost had a pun there, but I don't. So let's just talk about Apple falling.
The apple of Sean's eye today, I guess. That's what you were looking for there, Neil. Guys, Apple down about 3.7% on the session. Shares are trading lower. The stock been moving down on continued weakness as investors continue to weigh the potential impact and risk associated with tariffs and other policy decisions. Weak stock today, guys.
So we, what was that?
Oh no, the positions keep disappearing.
Oh, the position board is now gone. Yeah, so we are still short. Thanks for pointing that out. We are short Apple still, and look, we put something out every day. It's called a sticky note, and it should be in this thing. We should have sticky notes right here in this. Instead, we have double monitors right there. We should have the dual monitors on that one. So here it is right here, Apple, 201 short. China not, I just made a very, very simple note. China standing firm, pricing and demand uncertainties loom, right? So when you're talking about Apple, we wanted the short early. And we talked about that trade early with Nvidia with Neil, and this is the only trade that I was in, and it was Apple. It was off of VWAP, then it was off of the 200 period moving average, and then it was $4 to the downside, and we captured that. We almost captured all the move, pretty much. We got out early. We're always going to get out at the 50 period. And then it comes right back in, and we get more out at the end of the closing of the day right there. And then boom, 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 and then all of a sudden I was like, okay, we've been running Apple today. It's been absolutely fantastic, and it's only been one trade. Let's try it again. So we were sort of out for a walk. Yes, that is correct. Yes, thank you, Ramin. And then so we were just doing our thing, as we normally do here. And I was just like, you know what? This is drifting up into VWAP again. Let's try it. Obviously, we did break there. And then Powell came on, and yeah, that was that. I knew Powell was coming, and we just took the risk on the short. We didn't want to reload the short, but we did have our stop right here at 198. It comes nowhere near breaking it. So there we go. Well, not nowhere near it. I guess it did come pretty close, a couple pennies away, but about 12 cents away from getting short. Getting shut down of that short, and then boom goes the dynamite, nicely traded to the downside, and then we just got out. We got out at VWAP, we got out the 200 and at the 50 period. Then we got out at the day's low at that time, and then we just started making new lows. So we just sat in this trade. I put the stop at 195.50 right here. That's where the 50 period moving average is. But if you're in this trade with me and it's like a make or break thing for you, and you're wondering, I still have the full position or anything like that, it should be coming out if and when you break that 50 period moving average. So right now that's at 195. But yeah, the whole day today is Apple. That's it. I have one trade there and there, one name Apple. And it is, we had our best day of the year since the show started early in April. This is going to be my best day of the week, and it's just one name there, being very, very focused, being very, very specific with what we wanted to. So that was it, man. Apple, $4 early, $4 late. Thank you so much, Tim Cook. Don't like the fact that these iPhones may be going up in price, but at the end of the day,
maybe.
We're in Canada, so our tariff situation is a little different. Yeah.
But we were having this conversation. Look, I don't have anything technically to add about. I wasn't even looking at Apple. It's a great look because I think one of the things is you have to know which short you want. I had a wath of names that I liked for the short side trade. I'll get to the weekly chart here in a second, which looks nasty, by the way, for Apple. But I think you had a wath of names that I liked, and the best one didn't really set up as well as I would have liked it on Alibaba. But you have to just stick with it and get what you can out of it, which is what I tried to do. But this weekly chart on Apple, so retest of the two. So I got to color these differently so they show up a little bit better. I'll get to that at some point. The 200 period on the weekly just feels like we're headed for another retest. The 170 to 178 there on Apple seems like that's a pretty decent possibility. As with everything I always talk about here, the caveat being when you're bearish, one headline and everything changes. You just we get the right headline or the right comment from Trump or a deal getting struck, I think you're okay. But I think you're retesting those. It just seems to make some logical sense to me. But in terms of our situation here in Canada being different for the tariffs, I think one of the things you'll find is we'll still have increased prices anyways here, even if we're not directly affected. It'll be like this smoothing out where you'll get price increases like across the board, a certain amount, and then you'll shove it in certain other places with regards to these tariffs. Apple is in a good position that they can sell off some inventory. It's not the end of the world if this ends quickly. Let's put it that way. Ooh, Meta. Oh, goodness. I'm going to get that dip by this quarter the way this is going.
Yeah, you might.
Might? It's coming down. Let's talk some Meta.
We're going to get that dip by here. Neil, down about 3.5% here, guys. Fitzgerald maintains an overweight on Meta platforms, but lowers price target from 790 to 624. That's quite a bit of a lower there, guys.
Someone in the chat, I couldn't understand what they're meaning. They meant look at gold. I'm like, good. Well, yeah, gold obviously having a fantastic day. We'll talk some Meta. I want to thank you, Woods, for the super chat. It's just a straight 20. No comment. Just giving the love. Appreciate you, Woods. That's what it's all about. Thank you. Hopefully I hope you're having a great day. But we appreciate all our viewers. We absolutely appreciate the super chat in there, brother. Meta, I'm not joking when I said I think we'll see that it's like the 4 mids. I believe I do have something out there. Sometimes I'll put out orders in my long-term account and then we'll get a bounce like this and then I'll cancel it and put it somewhere else. But I know when we had that last day that I had it at 442.69 and I might have canceled and replaced it, but I think we'll see somewhere in that mid 450s for Meta. Look, it's just you're bleeding like everything else. What are we supposed to say here? You broke the low, Powell tanked us, you're consolidating off the low. If Powell's going to talk recession, that's not going to be good for advertising and their advertising business in the short term. So clearly that's going to be a bit of a pressure point for them. That said, I think there'll be a PE in the teens if they get into the mid 400s, barring some kind of an earnings disaster. So that's why I like it. You get under 20, and I like you. At least for Meta, anyways. There's some, Ford has a PE under 20, and I don't like them. But you know what I'm talking about. You get a Meta at a 17, 18, 19 PE, and that's a buy for me. And I think we're going to get there sometime this quarter.
All right. I just want to say that we are now in a trade, and hopefully this trade will be able to work out for us. So we'll hit the sirens upside right now. I'm going to get out if this breaks too much lower than this $45 mark. 44, I'm just giving this to you because we're in at 44.90 break and we're out. I just want to see if the TQs maybe has had enough pain tolerance right now. So we're going to wait to see what winds up happening. Yes, I hear you. Oh, my mic is falling on my hoodie. Yeah. I'll get this in a minute. I'll fix it for everybody in a second here. Thanks, Ramin, for that. But yeah, the TQs, we're just going to try along here. I do have targets up here. If we can get 45.38s, 45.40s, something like that we're going to get out. I just think it's worth taking a little bit of a shot right now on the market in general. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I am doing it, but here it comes right back in. Again, Powell's gone, but it doesn't mean this momentum is gone. If we break below, I just have to stop out at 44. Here it goes, 44.89. Looks like we're going to try to break that rate now to the downside. Small hit here. Looks like it'll be 20 cents or so as we go to the downside right now in the TQQs. Yeah, not much love happening right now in the market. So we're probably going to get stopped out of this trade. But that's the trade that we're looking at. And I'm going to fix my hood.
What? Oh.
Not Robin Hood. I got to fix this.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I'm a little surprised here. I just saw someone saying GDX is too high. GDX has been in a straight up downtrend since the open. I know we were breaking out. Like, wow, that's gold's doing well, everybody.
It's all right.
But yeah, that's a hefty downward trend. So you're getting bleed pretty much everywhere. You would think the miners, I guess it's profit taking. Oh, this is a phenomenon you have to consider. Sometimes when you get massive market moves to the downside or a lot of weakness, so there's certain names which just end up getting some profit taking, even if they've been like a hedge. It happens all the time, and you see that. I think that could be happening over in GDX. Like, what's GLD? Is that same chart? Oh, just curious. Yeah, see, there you go. Like GLD straight to the upside, right? And so GDX made a fresh high, and it's selling off as they take profits. I'm glad that actually ended up being true. It would have been embarrassing if GLD had the same chart, but
yeah.
It's like I should have checked first before explaining the theory, but it's good that it ends up working out here. No, GLD looking incredibly strong. I think this could be an opportunity. Like, if we continue downside the next couple of days here, then a pullback in GDX into the prior high might give you a little bit of a trade. As it seems as if maybe you're getting a little bit of profit taker on the miners. Maybe it pulls back into like 50, and then market continues down, gold continues up, and then you resume the upward trend in GDX. Some saying they want to look at Tesla. My eyeballs are on IBIT and Mara right now, because Mara is starting to. Right, here's IBIT. IBIT is much stronger, or Bitcoin is much stronger, I should say, already testing above VWAP and trying to take it to the downside. So as it's breaking, it's actually starting to break a little bit down now. I'm going to see if I can't get into Mara for the short. So it's a relative weakness of Mara that has me liking it. I just realized something. My executions, that's right. I'll enable, usually on my 15-minute chart, it shows the executions, but I forgot that it crashed this morning and I had to rebuild it. So the executions usually show on all the charts. And I realized my order wasn't showing up. But I'm on the offer here of Mara, trying to get in. I don't know if we'll get VWAP, but this low here, before we retested the high, 1238, it just respected that on the offer. So I'll try to put my stop just above, see if we can't get short in the 30s on MARA. If I start to see Bitcoin blasting, though, I might just cancel. If I see, like, quote, acceleration on BTC, I don't want to sit on this offer in that situation. Tony likes the Tesla robo-taxis. I do too. I like the automated driving for Tesla. I like the robotics angle for Tesla. I like the AI aspect for Tesla. I like a lot of things about Tesla. None of them seem to matter right now, unfortunately. So I think you just got to grit your teeth, and if your time horizon is long enough and you like the stock, you just try to nibble in. I've said this before, if you're a new viewer, I bought Tesla at 220 while I was on, I got the fill when I was on vacation down in Florida. And then I sold a third of it in front of 280, and I wish I'd sold the whole thing. Did I? Oh. Then I sold I don't wish I sold the whole thing. But some part of me wishes I'd sold more. I don't wish I'd sold the whole thing. But at the end of the day, I don't know why I just got in and out flat there on Mara. It didn't break higher. At the end of the day, I just think you have to be incredibly patient with Tesla. And all of these things that we're looking for in the future, Tesla has a history of not delivering fast, right? So we get excited about something and it's a slow delivery. You throw in the sentiment of this market, you throw in the sentiment of that's going on with Elon, the leadership, and then you throw in the trend, everything is telling you to just be very, very patient. I'd rather miss the first 20% of a move in Tesla than just keep trying to catch the bottom every couple of weeks. So I'm holding every single quarter and then just making another decision next quarter at those lows. So I did just jump into Mara, but very quickly here, my position board's correct for me, Ramin. But this HOLO, which I've said, I am not looking to get more shares of HOLO, but it's breaking back above VWAP. I am still in 10% of it that I had bids out for. I was able to get it down to 10% when it held 45. But if we break, I think I'm at 48 quarter. Yeah, I'm at like 48.25 here on Holo. I'll just get out of it if it breaks out above VWAP. So if you're looking long in this stock, it's starting to hold VWAP and look a little bit good for the long, this small cap. I'm not even sure what the news was. Sharif was trading it, and it just did. It broke a day-long trend, which I haven't seen before on a penny stock, where like the 9:30 low ends up holding the trend the whole day, and then we just took the short on it. But I'm not gonna take more shares or anything like that.
All right, so we flipped it up. I don't want to throw away what we've done on Apple here today, obviously, but just to show you guys what we did on the Qs. So we went long and then stopped out. Then we bought that dip because if I get stopped out on the futures and we don't start to push, then for me, there's something going on. So I want to wait to see if that something is something. So I know that sounds crazy. I went back into the long and we were able to get some out there near the tops, near 45, but then we just fell out again. So now I'm going to try to just say, you know what? Looks like the short is going to be right, and we'll play that until we get back above $45. And we said this yesterday, like for me in the afternoon, it's almost a complete, and I was saying this to Neil earlier today as well, it's like just a completely different beast altogether because I don't really want to fight the trend, but most of the setups for me will come into play off support, right? And so it's like, I was trying to see if we had this 50-period break, which I like, and then now I was thinking like, okay, if we're gonna go long, you know, what about down here where that support is? So I don't know, like, do we just cover everything if it gets down there? Are we gonna start making new lows? Worry about there not being enough time left in the day, but I don't think that's gonna be a problem. There always seems to be enough time left in the day for these shorts, because there it goes again. Have the ability to flip it up. We talk about this all of the time. Oh boy, see if we can get going even lower right now. And so there you go. You saw me take a little bit of a hit there, and now we get right back into this now with the TQ's downside. So take what, a 17-cent hit or so, and then now we're in a 17-cent winner. So what a surprise. We go back and forth here with the futures as per usual. Adara, what you got over there?
Just to let you guys know, we just had a brand new event added to the White House schedule for today. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt set to hold a press briefing in about 2 hours at 4:30 p.m. after market hours, but worth noting, usually her press briefings happen at 1 p.m., mostly on Tuesdays, but now we get a Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. White House briefing again. This was not on the schedule earlier. It looks like this was just announced. So be aware, we have Caroline Leavitt taking the podium for this White House press briefing, 4:30 p.m. Keep an eye if you do trade these post-market moves. Back to you.
Life of me, I can't figure out what could cause them to want to address everybody, or I don't know.
All right.
Oh yeah, come on, like, you know what it is. The market just bled again, so we jumped into Mara. It's already retracing back into the lows. Bitcoin is retracing back into the downside. I just looked at SMCI and wanted to punch myself in the face.
Yeah.
Well, not really.
Oh.
I was gonna hit this key.
Yeah.
There's an old game on the old Macintosh. It was like a golf game, and every time you duffed a shot, they had this like stock voice thing that would go, "Whoops." And so when my brother and I were kids, if you mess something up, we'd always go, "Whoops." Yeah, well, SMCI probably should have gone back into the short at the same price. Remember SMCI went green today? This is like Bitcoin. It was green. Now it's down 5%. The bleed is real. Powell is fighting with the president, and ultimately the war of words is not helping anything at all. But it doesn't matter. You just got to try to short, and so shorting pops is the name of the game. Someone asked what I thought of Intel. It didn't get to VWAP. I was trying to reshort VWAP and Intel, and you didn't get there. Bitcoin did, Mara didn't, so we shorted Mara instead. I could probably look over at Tesla. Is Nvidia? Oh, Nvidia's almost 10% now.
Yeah, man.
Nvidia 100 might be a thing today. 100 could come into play.
So I do agree shorting the pops, but the thing about that is that, you know, sometimes we talk about that spidey sense, right? And I talk about that all the time. It's like I shorted the lows. I just think that this market right here, we've seen what's been happening. We were long early, and then we just flipped it up, and there it goes right back down into the downside to the point where right now this is 40 cents in the money, and we lost scraps, and then boom, right there to the downside. So I just think that you want to be careful. I agree with what we're saying here for sure. You want to be careful with some of the positions, but at the same time, you know, if you want to be part of the fun, I'm not sure there's going to be a pop, and if there is, just to Neil's point, I think you want to join that party and short said pop. We may be getting just even a small one even right now as this market tries to figure itself out. I'm going to take advantage of some of these thoughts and just you know, start to get out because I'm not even sure what is going on right now. And let's just keep on getting out on these lows. If it still goes lower, fine. But right now we're 44 cents in, and it's going a hell of a lot lower right now. So here we go, man. We're in this game. It is a $4 winner for you, Ozan, right there, as we are still short on Apple. Like, we were short Apple earlier at $200. It's now down to $194. And again, we wrote the price down right here, so we got this. We talked about it early and often, Apple. So we have 2 trades today, Apple and now the futures. So yeah, man, just keep on bleeding, I guess. I hate to say that because I'm always and forever long in my account. But for right now, oh boy, here we go now. Now 50 cents in the money on these trades. You can see what I'm trading right now, Apple and the futures, and we go down. We got a question about why do I trade TQQ versus SQQ? Just my preference. I'd rather see blood red in my account than trade the SQQ long. And I don't have buying power. I've got 99 problems. Buying power ain't one. So we can throw out thousands of shares of this stock. So if that becomes necessary, we will do it. So that's what we're doing right now on the TQQs. Great question. Thank you for asking it. What up, A?
I mean, this market certainly is not up. It is worth noting, though, Nvidia, one of many names here at day's lows on watch. Here we have a report coming from a congressional panel. Looks like they did a bit of a review into AI. Apparently, this panel found that DeepSeek did use US AI models, but here's the bigger thing with regards to Nvidia. They're also apparently asking the company about its sales to China. So congressional panel here wanting to look into Nvidia's China sales. When I have more details on this, I'll let you guys know right away. Also, the other thing I want to mention here is we have an update on this White House press briefing. As mentioned earlier, we have a very uncharacteristic White House press briefing. They're usually at 1:30 p.m. 1 p.m. on Tuesdays. Today we get one at 4:30 p.m. on a Wednesday, not scheduled ahead of time. And now apparently this White House press briefing with Caroline Leavitt at 4:30 tonight will feature a special guest. So keep an eye out, 4:30 p.m., special guest at this White House press briefing. Something to be aware of for sure. And back to you.
The briefing. Maybe Trump will go, no, it probably won't be, but I guarantee you there'll be comments about the market and interest rates. I'm pretty sure. You'll see me double bottom out on Intel, so top to bottom, and if it goes up again, I'm going to short the pops on this. Might take if it breaks the low, let me just go to the daily chart. If it breaks the low, this is the prior 52-week low on Intel where it's trying to bounce right now. There was that dip underneath where we had that crazy reversal, but if you look at that same afternoon, or that it made the bounce, this is where the bid kind of picked up, like resistance and to buy. So a double bottom at a pretty key level. I also ended the trade in Holo. Told you guys if it busted VWAP, volume's not that good. It might actually resume down because the volume's pretty low right in here, as you can see. So this, I wouldn't trust this bounce on low volume, but I am out of the trade. It was one in and then just hold the trend. It kind of broke the trend and broke VWAP, so now I'm out of it. And Mara, we're going to continue to try to short the top. In Mara, off to 1230. We have 1233.35. We're trying to get a little bit more into the low of the day. As long as Bitcoin continues to trend, however, holding through the low. Bitcoin gets to the low, I think Mara breaks the low of the day. Yeah, Nvidia is now 10% down, which does mean the 100 level is coming into play. SSR, it is now short sell restricted. That just means the uptick rule is in effect. It doesn't mean you can't short the stock. It just means if you want to hit the bid to go short, the last print in the tape has to be green. So it just makes it more difficult, well, somewhat more difficult, I suppose, for it to cascade down. But believe me, it can still fall further and people can still go short. 100 in play. I usually like a nice little SSR bounce down here. The 100 level might give you that chance for a quick little reversal trade.
All right, man. So we just covered a decent amount right here of the futures. Could get a little bit of a pop back up. I just put the stop order at the 50-period moving average. We can keep changing that as it comes back in. But right now, we have about 25% left. I'm actually going to cover a little bit more here at 36. There it is. So, yeah, not many shares left for me here today on this spot. So we're happy with how we've been trading it, and we're just going to sort of put that feather in our cap and see what happens now moving downside as we just have that not small piece left, so about 25% or so left. I have to do the exact math. We've traded just a few shares in here right now, hopefully making a difference and get that back in. We just took a piece out at 36. My best outs right here on the TQs is 21s. So good call on that one. And yeah, man, yesterday one of our better trades, and I think it was carrying the day for me yesterday, was Intel as well. So good move there as it just makes that low again. So you could watch out for that if you are looking there. I know Neil was just talking about it, so good look over there on INTC, obviously. But yeah, Apple. So all my stops are now in. I'm seeing Boeing right now moving around a little bit. We could find out what's going on there. Yeah, just down to VWAP. Yeah, up today, Boeing. Yeah,
I'm glad I didn't trade Boeing today.
Yeah, strange one.
I'm real glad I didn't trade Boeing today. Because that would have been, I promise you, I would have come in thinking short on Boeing, and it would have done the upward trend. I probably wouldn't have been patient enough, and then we'd just be down on Boeing. Like, at least, I'd rather be wrong on something where my execution was bad, but the idea was right, because you can refine the execution. Like, there's something to build from. But Boeing didn't do what I expected yesterday. And today, again, it's good news. You know what? Good news for Boeing that you're green. If you're green today, good. If you're above VWAP today, good. Well, that's great for Boeing, but for your sanity, if you're trying to short this thing, not good at all. I just saw in the chat, someone was saying, when should I get into Nvidia? When should I get into AMD? Not to sound like a broken record, my answer for when I'm going to get into AMD is never unless it's a trade. For myself. I do think at some point there's going to be a swing trading opportunity in AMD, but I've been waiting for it to close above the 50-period moving average, find the next point of resistance at that close, and then break and consolidate above that close. So it was really close to setting up. Like, it broke the 50-period, tried to break the prior high, completely failed to do so that it never really triggered you any kind of a trend break on AMD. That's the only way I want this stock. Because I feel like if it gets to a price that's like too good to pass up, then I'm buying Nvidia that day. It's just, or maybe I'm buying ARM again. I don't know. ARM. Oh my goodness, ARM. I bet you that broke.
You were talking about that earlier.
No, so ARM. And if I ever see this again, sometimes if you see something like this, you just put a stop order and just leave it in there and just see what happens. Because ARM was doing the weirdest barcode where like 101 or 190 cents or something like that. Outside of one little break at 1206, it spent 1130 to 230 holding the same bid and the same ask. Sometimes in a situation like that, if you just had a stop order for the break low, maybe you don't get filled because it's on news, but the worst thing that could happen is you swing and you miss, because it was clean. Like, it just broke that bottom and then now trended down with the rest of the market. I'm only down 4%. Today is a good day for a chip name. So shout out to you, ARM, for not being my recent buy is not out of the money yet on ARM. But I will not be surprised if I look back in a month or before the report and my recent buy in ARM is out of the money. And if you're not willing to deal with that, then I don't think you should be buying any chip names right now.
Right, exactly, and that's the thing. You have to know that there's trouble brewing absolutely everywhere right now. I don't think there's any of the sectors right now are safe. So how'd your kids? How'd your wife? Right now, yeah, gold is a good safe haven. It's always great when Ramin is much smarter than me. So thank you for that one, Ramin, for reminding me about gold right there. Yes, good look for anybody trading GLD these days. But we are trading the TQQs, and man, we just, get ready to go one more time right now, as our stop order on this trade was 13 cents. It's now 67 cents. In the money as this continues to go down here on the futures. And we just, like I said, man, we're just staying true to what we believe. And I believe, anyways, that the Nasdaq has lower to go. So we stepped in. We were long. We flipped it up. We talked about that. Have that ability to go barbecuing, and look for the profits that you need, and trade the trend. And like I said that story about what I was saying to Neil before is that I find it's difficult in the afternoon to trade because I'm always kind of looking for that counter trend, that reversion move, something that comes to support. Normally it's only at support or resistance when it's trying to break it, especially in the afternoon. So I do find it a little tougher to trade right now, but not today. We say, as it looks like this downside push seems to be coming through for us right now. And again, it had to take the flip. The flippening had to have happened there at the end, and that does come through. So happy with that kind of a move right now into the close. We'll see if we can make something happen even more now. And by something happen, we're just sitting on the bid right now, taking some more out. And if we do look at the TQQs, I mean, we don't have anything right here, so we're gonna have to either zoom way back out. There it is. So we're gonna go all the way back to these levels that we were at. This was basically the 10th. Right there, we bounced off 44 bucks, so 44 could be an issue, and this is why you always want to at least look at zooming in and out and make sure that you do have some longer looks of where we could potentially stop. So right now, I see you 44. That could be an area of concern there for the triple Q. So why don't we, with that being said, I'm going to put another bid here on the TQQs. Get out at 20. Can we get that 20, Phil? I was talking to a few traders earlier, and they're like, man, you only use an ARCA? And I'm like, no. Yeah, we got it. I'm using all gateways at all times, but I do prefer ARCA. All right, over to Neil.
Well, if you like using gateways and bidding and asking and trading in a general sense, then ProfitX is going to be for you because you get to control your odds, control your bets, control the line that you accept. They've got peer-to-peer picking, open API access for automation. It's cost-efficient trading of your bets all in one place. Yeah. It's like day trading your favorite sports. Think about it that way. Make offers, match plays, manage risk with diverse prediction options. Don't just place your picks, exchange them. Hedge in, hedge out. It's just an opportunity I don't think you can pass up on if you are a trader and like betting. It's the smarter, faster way to play. And the best part is, everyone here, you can use the code TRADERTV to get the sign-up offer of 2% cash back up to $300. I can tell you, I can't wait until we're a little bit closer to the NFL draft. Yeah. Why? Because I have some thoughts on, just who's going to go in the first, how many quarterbacks are going to go up there, and what I love about ProfitX. And if we can stop running that, one of the things I love about ProfitX is that the ability, we say this all the time, the ability to bet the no, not just who's going to go with the number 3 pick. Okay, that's fine. That's all fun and well and good. But what if I just want to say Travis Hunter isn't going to go? I can literally request odds and make it. I wouldn't do it right now as the draft is a couple of weeks away. I mean, you could sit there with a ridiculous line, I suppose. But that's the kind of thing you're able to do here, like top 5. Everyone wants to know who's going number 1. It's going to be Cam Ward. Yeah. Even if there's a trade, it's going to be Cam Ward. So I don't imagine, we're minus 9,000 there, which that's obviously reflected. I'm not even sure how liquid, 183 on that, but 91,000 total action. There's a lot
minus 9,000.
Yeah, minus 9,000. Well, I mean, the Titans have already said he's going 1, so they're enamored with the guy. And even if there's a trade, the guy's going to go number 1. So that's not the bet you want. But the point is, it's like trading in that you bid, you ask. It's like, maybe you want the short from 12.30 to 35 to 40. You can layer offers. You get picked up on all of them. You can do the same thing. Taking money line or whatever it might be. You can just sit there and maybe you get swept up by someone who really likes the other side. So big advantage there. And Trader Forever, yeah, we actually didn't even, you said it this morning, but we didn't spend too much time talking about this with regards to TSM. ASML kind of, they had a bad guide. Look, it wasn't good for ASML. TSM, that's a big deal tomorrow. They're down 5 points. All the chips are bleeding. You do not need them throwing more cold water on the chip space, which is entirely a possibility. Like just about everything else, they just recently death crossed. So yeah, there's that happening too. It's never the best sign in the world when you have a death cross. But TSM, that's going to be a very big earnings name tomorrow morning. So buckle up, everybody. Volatility's here. VIX is back over 30. Probably solidly right now. I haven't checked in a hot minute.
Is Mara doing anything, or because
it just bounced low of the day?
Yeah, okay.
So it's at the low of the day now. I was trying to reload, but there's no point having an offer at the price from before, because if it gets up there, we can make a decision at where it curls. Maybe it makes a lower high, but I want to let it try to ride through the low of the day. Is when I see IBIT, I'll show you guys Bitcoin here. When I see IBIT, like, it's bouncing on a higher low, and Mara's at the low of the day, so it's relatively weak. So any other push down in IBIT, and we're breaking the low of the day. So when I see this start to curl again, I'm going to jump into the short in Mara again, or reload the short. If I see it go up to VWAP and IBIT, then I'm reloading the short in Mara, and I just think it's relatively weak at this point. So I have an obvious sort of like leading indicator is the word I'm looking for. Aldrin Greer, VIX back to 60 on Monday. It's great for trading. It's great for the shorts. I hope not for everybody's account. Let's just keep it real. If the VIX gets back to 60 on Monday, that's going to be a problem. That's a problem.
We are almost entering the hour of power right now. Welcome for everybody who's joining us right now. We hope you're joining not only for the first time, but for a long time as well. Make sure you do hit that like and that subscribe, as we have a whole bunch of different trading for everybody here, right? I mean, we all have many different styles of trading, and no matter which style you guys are doing, I hope that we're able to cover some of the names. Make sure you do hit the chat, as we'd love to sort of look over that, go through that. The guys on the midday trading, different. I mean, Joe trades much different than Sharif. Sharif will look at some of the higher flyers, things like that. Joe, he's not here right now, but I see the way he was trading. He trades like a little bit of IBIT. So more kind of sort of what I'm looking at, some of the big cap names and things like that. And then
IBIT, Tesla.
And then IBIT and Tesla. And just to show you an example, right? Like, I've traded 2 names today, right? How many symbols have you traded?
Well, not including bios.
No. Just like names that you're showing on the show.
So we'll go in and out one time on about 5 names, and then continuously trading 3.
So 8. So there you go. So 4 times the symbols, right? And I think it's just a matter of figuring out what's good, what you're doing.
Well, this is just to expand on that, because I say this every single time. Like, there's a big difference between. We'll show Alibaba. By the way, I'm not going to trade Alibaba again. I think sometimes, it is at the low of the day, but for a stock like a big cap tech name or just any larger cap name, maybe you want to stick with it and go over and over again. Like Intel's an example. Then we go over this, like
Apple.
Where you'll go, Apple, where you'll trade it multiple times. But if I'm trading Holo, then I'm taking 1 trade in Holo. If I'm trading SMCI, so this is like a trend break. When I trade SMCI, I trade 1 shot in SMCI. And obviously, this is a situation. I think SMCI would be an example where, it gave you the same level again. I took the trend break, but you could have taken a second time, but it was a simple trend break. And then the similar thing, where is it? Just give me 1 second. Where's the bottom on SMCI? I need to see this because, we're not till $28 would be the local bottom on SMCI, so we're not even close. That's got a lot of room to fall. And then I look at something like NIO, and that was the one and done. It's a short to the high. It never set up again. So there's a big difference between, I'll always trade more symbols in my style. And that's been, when I was a penny stock trader, that was always the same. Because the way I see it, if you have like a very specific, like mean reversion style trade, most often you'll see one setup for it, and then it's like a go, and then sometimes you hold it all day. Like the best one this year for me was like a Walgreens, where I had it, and I was literally holding it to the close. And sometimes it's just how it is. It was a 1 entry on that bad boy. But the market, like I said, the market's right back in at those lows. So we're just going to hold on to shorts. If we get more pops, maybe we can play into some of these pops. But I'm not seeing anything that seems to want to bounce.
And you're right there, pro day trader. I just checked. Yeah, Obi and Sean have similar styles. Yeah, Obi won name today. So me too, Obi-Wan, right there. So yeah, again, just thanks for joining. Obi-Wan, yeah, Obi-Wan trade right now. Yeah, I know Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan trade, yeah. Obi-Wan trade Kenobi today, so shout out to Obi right there, so that's good. Yeah, okay, let's go. Yeah, there goes the TQQs. Like I was saying, you know, bigger positions, couple trades, in and out right there. We'll still hold it. Now $1 in the money. We have $9 combined on Apple today. Give us another one right here. There it is. It's your hour of power. Give another $1 right there for you as we continue to trade. So Apple is over $9 today. We've had, because you guys might be saying over $9, this trade is only $4.50 in the money. We have this trade from earlier. If we had, I'm just adding this plus this. If you take out all the outs, I can't add it up. It's just that was 200. You're down now all the way. Keep on going. There's that last trade. And then the trade that we put on live with you already right here today was this. Remember, we started long, right? But then we didn't feel it. It didn't go. It broke lower. There it goes. Nice downside play right there for the TQs. And there goes the Nasdaq. We've really made it here on the TQQs, right? And so boom goes the dynamite there to the downside. So that's about it. Hey, Pro Day Trader, that's for you to ask the questions every day. Are we green or red? And then you keep notes, my guy. We don't talk about that for each other, who's more profitable or anything like that. You guys, the idea at the end of the day is to try to figure out if you're green or red. The amount of money that you make is just a function of your share size, and how, like Neil was saying there, different styles, right? And so like someone will trade maybe 10 different names, and if you're using big shares, great. If you're using small shares, great. Holo will have dollar moves, and it's only a $5 stock or 50-cent stock. So that's where it's just one of those things.
Like Holo top to bottom went 36 to 50.
Right, and like as a percentage there, we saw Sharif on the midday show as well, like trading some of those small cap names. So it just goes to show the only thing really is green or red. And that's the only way.
Well, the other thing,
then it's not even accurate.
Well, yeah, but the other thing you have to always consider too is for everybody in your trading style, like when you make a trade, remember when it's a winning trade, it's just you always look at just how much you made, how much did you risk on that trade, right? So what did you risk to make on that trade, and then just as long as that makes sense to you. And I really hope no one just Mullen just always does this to people. Someone just said to me Mullen is going, and 2 seconds ago it was up 25%. Or at least a minute ago. And I was looking over and I'm like, why is it going? I didn't pay for shorts today. I was about to go process, is there enough time? Like, do I want to short this back into the previous close? Before I could blink an eye, it was right back at the bottom on like a volume spike. It went from no volume to 4 million really quickly, and then it's right back at the low of the day. So forget about it. Nvidia is trying to bounce here. Close. It not really a test of the $100 level, but it is trying to bounce here on Nvidia. Yikes, maybe you're seeing some kind of a bounce. You just double check.
On what, on Nvidia? Oh, on Nvidia.
No, I'm just looking at all the other chip names. I just canceled an offer. It's 3 o'clock. You don't need to have resting orders out there. Like I had that order out when it was going to VWAP. I don't need that order out when it's at the low of the day, because then you can get sucked up if there's news or something like that. I just wanted to double check the other chip names if they're participating. AMD's not bouncing. Intel's not bouncing. SMCI is definitely not bouncing. SMCI doesn't have a green candle on the 3-minute since
oh my God.
2:12. It's been an hour for SMCI, and they just put one in at this bottom. I wish it was SSR. Yeah, Dr. J, you're 100% right. You're saying this because you know I always talk about this book. Neil, great book about that called Thinking in Bets by Annie Duke. Everyone always asks me, what book for trading? And I tell people the same thing every single time. Thinking in Bets by Annie Duke, and it's not a trading book. She's a poker player. It just comes down to evaluating decisions and the proper way to evaluate decisions and not worry about resulting, worry about, like, in the poker world, if you go deuce 7 versus aces and win, you know you didn't make a good decision, but you might have won. So it's thinking along those types of lines. So shout out to you, Dr. J. Love Dr. J. Met him one time in Fort Lauderdale. Really cool dude.
Yeah, shout out to Philly. What up, Philly? All right. The market's still going to the downside. We don't need to do anything else right now. This is continuously bleeding down right now, and we've taken enough profit here on this trade that we can now just go with it. $6, $7, $8. And I mean, you can see right here, even the styles right now of trading, right? So, I just got aggressive with the TQs. And if something sets up for any of us, we're going to hop right into it again. And so right now, I think the thing that's moving, I keep seeing IBIT. Nothing. See, this is the problem. And we talked about this, and this is why Neil and I are pretty light on our positions. I just speak for myself on this one too. But it's like, unless something actually sets up, it's like, I know the market's going down. We can clearly see that. We took advantage of it. We're sitting in shorts. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you want to punch the short on all of these lows. I mean, where this market goes from here is anyone's guess. The market's already had its move. The Nasdaq's down 4%. That's why we put out the sticky note. That's why we put out some ideas early. We only have all shorts on here. We had that thought early, and now it's playing out late. It played out early as well. Like, you could go over and say, you know what? Let's have a quick look at Tesla, maybe into the close. Look what the heck is happening with Tesla right here. I mean, see, so again, if to our points again, if Tesla's on your radar, for me it's Apple. It's why we're sitting in this $5 in the money. But if you have Tesla on your radar, then you have the same trade right there. You could have shorted VWAP rate, and that's at 230. It's a little bit different trade than the one I have on, but the idea is the same. You're shorting into the 50-period moving average, right? So it's these kind of trades and these kind of ideas where really you're going to have to figure it out. What stock do you like? What is the momentum to the downside here? What kind of, people use Fibonacci's, people use many different, ideas on indicators, where to get in relative strength, volume. I hear Joe talk about volume profiles, not volume profile, but the signature that he calls it, waiting for that wick with the volume to follow, so on and so forth. So there it is. What's up, Charlie Taff? You've got it, man. That's a face slapper right there. This individual. I was going to say, I don't want to say man, because I think Charlie is an awesome girl's name. So shout out to Charlie out there. I know a few of them that are female, including one of the better players on my rep baseball team right there. Yeah, Charlie's Angels is a dude.
Lead character in.
So thanks for me for that one. But yeah, here we go to the. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for that. But there it is. Huge move to the downside for Tesla, down 7. I should have asked Rivy and Randy what he's up to, because Rivy and Randy may be in.
Buying tomorrow.
No, not yet.
Tomorrow.
Ooh, you think Rivian's down another 10% tomorrow, huh?
Well, what level? Is he buying 1050? What level is he buying?
Whatever, yeah. 1050, 1020, anything. I mean, just low.
1020 maybe.
Even 1050, man, still 10% down. Okay, will we be able to get that tomorrow on Rivian? Anybody's guess at this point. I would say no. Generally, when you get a huge move down like this, the thing is, this move is not.
You have to remember, though.
This is a different move, I feel like.
Like, it's the end of the week tomorrow, right?
Oh,
so
right.
It's a holiday on Friday. Yes. Tomorrow's still it'll be expirations. It'll be over the weekend risk for all trades. And so that's why, I think you could see some craziness in tomorrow's trade. Just because when it's a Friday, when you get a Friday coming in, you have a really bad Thursday and you have some jittery hands on a Friday. That's how we should be thinking about today. So I don't see why you couldn't. Maybe not 10-20. That's extreme. I didn't realize it was actually only down 5%.
I thought it'd be down more. That's why I went over there.
Yeah, when I see Tesla down 5%, my assumption is Rivian is having a worse day most times, and that's simply not the case. Tesla is down 7%. Rivian's only down 5. Only down 5. Apparently the USD is collapsing.
Wow, it's been collapsing for a hot minute.
It's been going down for a while. That's one thing I got to throw up a little bit more.
Yeah.
As you guys watch me throw it up live. Do we have it on eSignal? Oh, is it? You know what? I don't know what it's DXY, but I don't know what it is on eSignal.
Oh no! Well, here you could just do. You come over here. I have UUP, so UUP.
Oh yeah, you can do that too. I want it on eSignal.
Ultra, is it? I know it's bullish. Yeah, it's just bullish. It's not the actual. It's not levered. So yeah, I mean, here's the U.S. dollar. If you just on our account on our trading platform, we just have UUP. We don't actually have, like you mentioned, the DXY. But to the downside, the dollar has been getting absolutely destroyed, down 10%. If you just use UUP, that's $30. This is December 19th, so let's just call it the beginning of the year. I don't know what's up with that gap there for us, but $30.70 all the way down to 27. So that's like 10% in a couple months. huge move. And again, that's going to be in relation to, you know, the euro, the Japan, the Japanese yen, Swiss franc, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, downside play for sure. Wow, this is really starting to get going here on the TQs. I'm going to have to put another bid out here. So again, if you guys are watching me early, that's 17 cents worth of a hit. We're now in the money at $1.25, and obviously we just have we don't have, not a small piece, about 15% left. Now we have 12.5% left as we take another fill right there to the downside. So nets move up today in the account here, but net moving way down in the portfolio. I already phoned Marissa during lunch and I said, I now have to retire at 61. Give it an extra year. We need an extra year now in the retirement account for this battle. So we'll see what winds up happening right now. TQs still going downside. We're happy to be here. For me, it's one of the only, like, look, you know, being Catholic and everything like that, you know, Easter, obviously, it's very special. We get together with family, and it's one of those things. But you know what, man? I'd rather be trading on Good Friday. I don't like long weekends. I like it because this weekend, Friday I'm at hockey all day. Saturday we're at hockey all day. Monday is signing day as my girl takes AA hockey right there. So she gets that. My wife's preparing a signing table and everything, man. We're getting ready to go on that one.
Doing it all the way up.
We're doing it all the way, man.
Check out that app I was talking about.
Which app?
Remember the app for the it's literally called the Signing Day app.
Oh, okay.
Remember, it's
I don't remember you mentioning.
No, because they're actually a public company, and what you do is like you upload your videos.
Oh,
and it's for getting recruited.
Right, yeah, exactly.
You should check it out.
Right.
Now,
So
okay,
anyways,
when I say that stock is doing really, really poorly.
Thank you, Vizbot.
But it's a really cool. I think.
Yeah, well, the stock, I'm not going to judge a company by its stock price.
It's a cool company, just don't look at the chart.
Not these days,
Really
but
cool
yeah. Anyways, yeah, so it's super busy weekend. It starts actually. Last night was volleyball and basketball. Tonight is CrossFit. Thursday is practice again, and then Friday is game day. So weekend in Brampton. So a couple games there.
Well, I guess you're
one
playing
in
at
Scoville.
I forget what they call that rink now.
Yeah, I don't know either.
They changed the name recently.
We were playing at.
It's going to be. I'm just happy tomorrow is. Well, it's going to be a little bit of probably some Wii time. With my daughter's.
Oh, yeah.
It's not. I keep saying Wii, but it's like she loves the Wii. It's a Switch, Wii Sports. Because on Saturday we're going to. It's a Jays event day, so we're going to the Jays game, and then Friday he's not watching. It's like going to like a surprise party on Friday.
Oh, nice, good.
On Sunday. Sorry, I said Friday. On Sunday it'll be. But
Boom.
Jameson saying look at CoreWeave. So just one thing quickly. I do have a target on Mara on the 15-minute. You pull back, 1190. That was a lower high. That'd be, what's that, like on Friday? Yeah, so Friday's lower high in here was a key price for most of the week. We break 12. That's where I want to see if we can get down to. At CoreWeave, if I was a buyer of CoreWeave, like if I wanted to own CoreWeave in the long term, I'm not saying I do. I think you can just buy Nvidia, I suppose. But I would probably be thinking about picking it up. Here, I made this mistake with ARM. When I wanted to own ARM, and then I just didn't pull the trigger, and you like it, you want to hold it in your long-term account. It was a recent IPO. I saw it go up. I'm like, oh, it's starting to come back in, and I was like, oh, it's going to go lower. It's going to go lower. I can just wait this one out and buy it in the 30s. Well, it never got there. It broke 50. I'm like, I'm going to get this in the 30s for sure. And then it started breaking higher, and then I never got in until it was already breaking out, and then you're buying crazy dips. Maybe I'll get a second chance. I think if you like CoreWeave, maybe a chance to be able to nibble here. $36. I said this in the morning. Obviously, we didn't get there for a bounce play, but $36 is its all-time low. That could happen tomorrow.
36, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's only $2 away.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Like, Rivian might not be able to get there, but this is pretty much, like we have another bad day. You can retest that bottom. That's a trade. And it does good volume. 5 million shares volume today on CoreWeave. Oh, snap. What just happened on CoreWeave?
What? Maybe you're talking about it too much.
I don't know.
Nice move to the upside there.
There's not that many. It's not a lot of shares they brought to market. There's a lot of insiders that like it. So like you can see the reasons why it starts to catch these bids. Because it just runs out of people with the opportunity to sell. And it can go squeezing a little bit here. Yeah, good move on CoreWeave. I don't know. I'm not chasing this move. Doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
market might be back.
Well, Nvidia's bouncing a little bit. CoreWeave, I guess, is just exponentially moving more than Nvidia. That's all.
I just put the stop in for Apple. I just want to update everybody. 193.70. We're short of 197.70 there. We're going to get out. I was going to get out if it breaks the 50-period moving average. So we just kept on following it down. So that's going to be my indicator there. For the TQs, we just took some more out in here. Like I said, now we had 12%. Now we have 10% left on this trade. I think a little bit less than 10%. It's a nice little move in the TQs there to the downside. And you guys asking TQ, SQ, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, just they're virtually the same.
They are basically
price at this point because of the market. So I just, like, if I go long, like right now I'm short Apple, so it's red in my account. And if I go long the SQQ, that would be equivalent of going short the TQQs. So I just stay short this one. And now the fact is they're close to the same price. So, the big advantage before was for some of you, like the day traders out there that maybe aren't trading firm capital or whatever, you may have traded SQQ when it was down at like $10 or something like that. But now with them being more equal, like TQs was just $90 and I was still trading it then. So right now at $43, you got to adjust a little bit and figure out, what that ratio does look like. Yeah, chuck of all trades. I mean, let's look. So for me, we sort of brought this out already, the TQs, and we had zoomed it back out, right? So here's a 20-minute chart on e-signal, and I sort of, looked at it right here and said 44 could have been a spot, but right there, that bottom goes all the way back to the 10th of April, and that's basically where we are right now, 43.15s. Looks like that's the bottom. So, is that the bottom? No, but that would be I don't know where the bottom is, but just looking out, we always say instead of panicking, don't stress out, zoom out. So right into there, 43.15, 43.20 if you were looking for a cover. Now remember, we were short Boeing. Yes, we had all these trades on. We have to cover at the end of every single day. We actually covered yesterday Nvidia at the end of the day because we were short that name and it tanked. So, getting covers right at 4 o'clock, 4:05 is basically the latest that we could do. Neil and I are both trading equity right now on the floor. So it's not options. We don't need to cover those in the open market or anything. So if there is after hours trade, we could cover a little bit there, but it's encouraged that we are flat in and around 4 o'clock. So so I'm just going to try to let it bleed now. I don't have a stop for the TQs because we only have less than that 10% left. So I would say it's probably prudent for me I'm looking at it. That's why I keep looking over here. I'm looking at this and Apple. And then, if there's any move up, it could be prudent to put a stop order in and around here, that 50-period moving average, which is 44.21. So you could be in there. My e-signal hasn't frozen. The only thing it's telling me is IBIT over and over. Here, like on this alert, nothing right now is hitting VWAP. Nothing's hitting. It's just because it's trying to get to that VWAP. But it's IBIT, Boeing, IBIT, XOM, Mara, which you're out of now, Roblox. I don't even know what happened to your Mara. It just trailed.
No, it trailed. No. It broke the low of the day, but the second it broke the low of the day, he's come to my chart for a second. The second it broke the low of the day, I had a trail in for the trend. So this is 1, 2, break the low, breaks the trend line and close above it. Now, I'm not taking it long. Sometimes there are situations where that's a break of the trend and we go into the long trade. But as a rule, I'm going to get out of the short when that happens. I had the chat up because I was going to read. There was a question in there. Normal special, you're responding to what I was going to address. Someone in the chat was saying that Trump had said it was a good time to buy. No, he did not say it again. That's previously before. No, in normal special, I don't think that person was spreading any lies. They're just saying that previously he had said it was a good time to buy. There's nothing new. Trump hasn't said anything today as far as I know. I just noticed now, I happen to be here. Big shout out to Vanessa. Welcome to Trader TV Live, new member here. So we appreciate you, Vanessa. You found the place where you can actually see the market moving in real time and what's happening not an hour later, but what's going on for real as we get breaking news, which Adara's doing a fantastic job bringing to you. Hasn't been much outside of Powell rocketing the markets to the downside. The Piper, I happen to see it and you're tagging us in here. I need help, took the short on NQ.
Boom.
Candles are $30 tall. How can I win while keeping a stop loss? 10 EMA is losing 40. The candles are that big. You just have to, you work your trade based on how the stock is moving, right? So you look at what the relative range might be. And if you've got, I'll just use the example. for Mara. Like when we're doom and gloom, the biggest candles are about 10 cents. And that's when the market's absolutely tanking. So you kind of know that for myself anyways, like I want to keep it underneath that 10-cent level, my entry point. And that's just, look, I'm just spitballing. You have to figure out your own trading strategy, whatever it might be. But you know, you want to tailor your outs to some degree to how much the stock is moving in a general sense, if that does help. But I mean, the market's going down, so I would suspect that you're not in any trouble. I wouldn't think.
Guys, look at this market right here. You are still, now we're 130, not handles. Like I said, the price has changed. Now we are now $1.40 in the money on this downside play as we keep on going. Yeah, there you go. So some people in the chat there. Thanks, Ryan, for mentioning that. Yeah, everybody can do their own thing. It's Fibonacci. So there we go to the downside one more time as you continue to go southbound. So, all right, let's look at something else. Is there any other names you guys want us or want me to look at, us to look at? We'll do that. It is now 3:20. We can have a quick look to see. I'm going to call up my favorite research page of them all, Trader TV Live Research, and just have a quick little look to see what Adara has been posting today on this page. So here we go, the Trader TV Research page. Definitely go check that out. I'm just actually refreshing because I was already on it. So let me see what most recent posts have been here. So yeah, 35 minutes ago, calendar for tomorrow. So let's have a quick look. I mean, if you're able to hold overnight, this is what you get tomorrow morning. So building permits, housing starts. So at 8:30, siren up, initial jobless claims. So the next shoe to drop here could possibly be jobs. So we're going to wait. Oh man, Philly Fed as well. This is, I want to hold on to the shorts just a little bit. And then you got the disaster that's coming. Look at Adara, even puts the Eastern times in there. So TSMC there going tomorrow at 2 a.m. So wake up, set your alarms tomorrow, 2 a.m. For that one. UNH at 5:55 a.m. You can, definitely most traders, I think, would maybe be up at 6 o'clock, whether or not you're in the gym or you have kids or not. There it is, UNH 5:55 a.m. AXP tomorrow 7 a.m. So tomorrow it is time for those of you that are rise and shine. Lot of trading tomorrow, especially in the pre-market if you do have ADR access, or you can even trade these markets. Get entitled with eSignal, pre-market trading, Blue Ocean, anything like that. There's Netflix as well. And of course, when we talk about Taiwan Semi, go over there, 2 a.m. Netflix tomorrow night. Netflix is going to be cool to watch. I think it's going to be a big quarter. I would definitely favor the long, would not want to be short that name. And you watch, it's going to be down 20%. But Netflix does not move the market. I've seen it many times. Netflix goes down like 5-10%, you're thinking like it's disaster, and the market's just like, meh, meh. It's not a huge player. There's not that many other names that would be affected from Netflix, right? Like what, Warner Brothers, Paramount, yeah, but not even Disney, man. These guys aren't even making money streaming. Like something, Apple. I mean, it's like, what are you worried about? Disney and they're maybe 1% of their revenue. Don't quote me on that. Maybe it's probably higher than that, if anything, for streaming, let alone Apple, things like that. So I think that Netflix does that. And then even tomorrow, I don't know why I zoomed out on that. I just wanted to keep showing it to you. Schwab, and then there's Texas Instruments, so that'll be another one. And then Wolf. Not much on that. And yeah, so thanks to Dara. You definitely want to make sure that you check it out.
Is it Wolf Speed? Or?
No, WULF. So Wolf Speed.
Okay.
Yeah. TerraWolf. So that's that name there. Yeah, so thanks to Dara for all of that. And then tonight, of course, we have a few more names reporting, but nothing too huge like we did.
Kinder Morgan is probably the biggest name reporting tonight.
On energy spot, yeah.
Yeah, energy, yuck. Yeah, I always mix them up. It's so I guess it is TerraWolf. Well, at least that probably won't be boring, TerraWolf. That's not looking very good at all. It's only 325, so there's still one chance, or at least maybe a couple of shots that we can get a little bit of a pop. I mean, you're trying to bounce here. I do see the crazy thing is that IBIT's signaling a re-entry into the short. Like it's like losing VWAP as we speak over there in IBIT. So I might just hop back in. My leading indicator, so trend out, but leading indicator is telling me to nibble right back in. And you've got 12.19, call it 12.20 as a local high in there. Yeah, I might just jump back into this off that 1220, mostly because of what I'm seeing in IBET. Like IBET's working right back into the lows. So it makes sense to me to jump back in. I just want to make sure I have the early locator up. Nothing much. UiPath, it was a sell yesterday, wasn't it? A buy today. UiPath was an early look buy of 3 million. It's been a sell every single day except for today on UiPath. 2.5, 3 million sell yesterday. FNA, that's for the morning, and then Enbridge is dual listed, so I don't really care about that at 900,000. Just UiPath on the early look imbalances, everybody. So unless you're that interested in Path, I will always double check. Is it moving?
Here, I'll give you someone who's interested.
Well, she's not buying it today, and if she's doing so,
Kathy's ARC.
if she's buying it, it's not helping the stock today. Like everything else, it's just straight to the downside. But a buy imbalance for the first time. About 5 or 6 days in a row, this has been a sell imbalance of about 2.5 million. Today, someone likes it, I guess. That just seems a little bit counterintuitive, but who knows?
So here's a question for you. If you see tomorrow Trump in the morning says something about buying the market,
Just do it.
are you going to? Like I'm saying in your personal account.
Personal account?
Yeah, like what would you do? Like
No,
have we
because-
learned from that last one, or do we think that
No,
was,
I wouldn't buy for my long term.
Right,
I would.
right.
I would look. I think I've learned enough that I'd come in looking for longs trading because I think we learned that lesson. But in the long term, like if we're just retesting the lows days after, then what's the big deal? Like it didn't. It's not like it lasted forever or anything. And we got a short term rally. That's a tradable event. If he says buy.
Right. Yeah, agreed.
Because I don't think I gave that enough respect when he said it the first time.
Oh, that's what I was asking. Like, does it create that huge move again, or are people like, okay, I see what's
Fool me once, kind of.
holy. This is now $5 in the money and going what looks to be a heck of a lot lower. Apple has no love these days, man. Apple just getting absolutely destroyed. We started the show flat, basically. I mean, we had this Apple trade on. That was from 130. I mean, we could have put more on. We feel like a moron not doing that. But there's that trade. And then just basically out of nowhere, we go boom on the TQs. And this trade was, again, I need like, Fabian, I need like a Spidey something there, because I don't know what was going on with me here, but we shorted that market, man. We were going long, we flipped it up, we went short, and then the rest is there for me as this just continues to bleed lower. Like, obviously, we wish that we had that magic 8-ball answer that could just predict what's going on in the market. But will tomorrow be a green day in the Nasdaq? Let me ask what this thing says.
I might wear red tomorrow.
Mr. Westermeyer, you may need to. Ask Perplexity. We're doing it live.
We're not
I'm gonna. Well, what?
I don't. You have it up. I have ChatGPT.
Yeah, you know what?
You can't ask ChatGPT that. It refuses to answer.
It doesn't answer the market questions.
I don't think so. It didn't used to. Let me try. Will the
Perplexity, my guy. Will the Nasdaq be down tomorrow? The Nasdaq will be open tomorrow, it says. It's not a holiday. However, whether the Nasdaq will be down or up tomorrow cannot be predicted with certainty, as it depends on market conditions and news, which are inherently volatile and uncertain.
Same thing with ChatGPT if you ask it. It doesn't say I won't answer, but it just tells you the same nonsense.
Yeah. So
flip a coin.
But the thing is, I can
ChatGPT,
just
same
ask
thing.
myself, and the thing is that my answer is it don't matter, because we're coming here, we're giving our ideas, we're trading the ideas, we're letting them run. There's no better time to trade than right now. Like I was saying this last year, I was saying this at the end of last year, saying this at the beginning of this year as well. This has been one of the better times to trade. If you're a momentum trader, it's been absolutely fantastic. If you're news-based, it's been absolutely fantastic. If you're trading imbalances, it's been absolutely fantastic. If you're trading commodities, it's been absolutely, Neil, finish it, fantastic. And no matter what you...
Probably. Those metals have been ridiculous. And they're strong.
Yeah, not probably, man. I mean, it's been fantastic, right? I mean, if you're trading gold, it's been fantastic. The moves that it's had, amazing. Oil?
As long as you're short...
No, just trading. Just trading in general, like longs or shorts. Like some of my best days have been that day that I had the best day ever in the show here for myself. Well, whatever, doesn't matter. Was long. You know, and it's just like some of those days, I think, anyways, some of those days, it's just a matter of what does the market give you.
Well, it's true because in 2008, a lot of the best days were long days. Some of that, I said before, some of that was a factor of, let's be real, they put a lot of short sell restrictions on in 2008. There was like, you couldn't short some banks on some days. Like you do a whole waft of stuff. You'd come in the morning and it's like, you can't short this, you can't short that, you can't short that. So you kind of didn't have a choice. You had to make your money long, but it didn't matter. The volatility is what is king. No, I was just saying that about commodities. I've never really looked at trading them. I did look at that MP today and then ended up not pulling the trigger on MP materials. It's still up 8%, but it's bleeding like everything else, man. Like sometimes they just sell it all, and this was one of those situations. MP, like if you were in this earlier, you were screaming and laughing just like you were in Bitcoin. And then Powell hit the podium, and Powell took the markets down. Thankfully, it's still up 8% if you took this. And this is just like GDX. Yesterday, when GDX gapped up, sometimes they take profit. There was some profit taking when this broke out its all-time. Well, maybe it's not an all-time high. It's a 52-week high. I don't know the stock well enough to say all-time high. I'm not pulling it back any further. But bounced off the 50 period and resuming the upward trend is the more important thing. So there's a moving market everywhere, and that usually means you can find longs and shorts. All right, I'm going to keep an eyeball on the locator here. There's a couple of things I'm looking for at the close. I'll tell you, I'll be in a few things for some closing auctions, and this one might be one of them. Just keeping an eye if I see it over 1 million shares or so. But yeah, you're expecting to close a couple of deals today, and some of them have a wide spread that I really like. But it is 3:30. I just showed you UiPath is the only thing showing you much of anything of an imbalance. Nvidia just double bottomed in here. We might be headed back up.
I just covered more.
Like if this breaks 101.50, every time I put in an order on Intel to go short again. All right, let's play it by ear. I'm watching Nvidia as Intel comes in to the prior low, 1890. I got the eyeballs on Nvidia. If Nvidia, well, I always have like the charts of what I'm watching above, and they're all my black charts. Like if Nvidia curls in here, I like the continuing downward trend on Intel, and we'll see if we can get back in around that 1890. So that's what my eyes are going to be on. I think there's maybe one more shot till you get the imbalances. Mara, I'm giving it to that local high, which is in a couple of cents. I see Bitcoin is stabilizing off of 14.7, so that's like 18.8, 83.8. So those are two things I'm watching, and pretty much that's it. There might be an imbalance trade, but that can wait for another 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
We have here also, I just want to say we put in our stops. So our stop is now in 193.30 for Apple. That's where the 50-period moving average is. If we break higher, we'll get out and take 470 on that trade. 450 on the trade. It's 470 right now. And then the futures, I just covered more. So we have like 2.5% left. So we just covered more right there. 50s, boom, got 2 outs. Just thought that maybe that, I mean, the bottom could be in. We thought the bottom was maybe in right there at $44. And then we zoomed out. Thank you for making me zoom out, whoever that was in the chat there, as you were asking about where's the bottom. We zoomed out. That's why we got more outs right there at 43. So those are that, and this is this. So now we're getting ready to get stopped out. My stop for the TQs was 44.40, but I'm going to cancel that right now and just do what we did on Apple as well. 43.90s stop. Oh, let's just go 44 flat. I don't think it's going to matter. I do want to give it a little bit more room. There it is, out of Apple. It's your face slapper for me today. Absolutely huge today on Apple. You know, it started off with a nice early take there and ended with an even better one on the short side. So there it is. End of the era there for me with Apple today. And now we'll just wait to see where we go from here and the rest of the market, where our stop is in here as well for the TQs. We almost got, that's why I give it just a little bit more room on all of these plays, you know, because again, we don't have, and you know, I wish we had a little more shares, obviously, but that's always the problem. If I had more shares, maybe I wouldn't be so like, oh, let's just give it another 20 cents because we just did break it. But I'm going to give it up to $44. I always like to look at a key level and then go a little bit higher on that. Now I have Occidental flashing on that scanner of mine. I don't even know why.
What is that scanner saying?
I have to figure it out because sometimes when nothing's there, it will do that. So I think it's just this it could be this right here, the 5 minute on the 200 period moving average. But anyways, at the end of the day, Occidental moving around right now. It's up on the day, so that could be something. On our trade rate, because we were just sort of talking about
That's
e-signal.
Nvidia.
Yeah, there it is, Jive.
No,
That's going to be nothing. That's just going to be a volume.
That's a Jive
probably.
turkey.
That's a Jive turkey. Yeah, Tesla, Soxel, Spiders. Ooh, a name that we didn't look at too much today, Amazon. Let's have a quick look to see what that's doing. Okay. I saw, I was talking with Marissa today. What did we order? It was $150 something worth in the morning. I was like, what? What are we buying on Amazon for $150? Because normally we just buy staple goods on there, but I can't remember what it was. Palantir could be a nice little bid at some. It's down right now. Oh boy, where's Joe's not here right now, but I wanted to ask him about Robinhood because that was another name that he's been in as well, and I like Robinhood down here. Amazon down 4% as well. We just heard that in our ear.
I'm punching out of Intel. Just very quickly, Nvidia broke 102, the prior resistance, so I was in Intel in front of the 1890. I didn't even let it hit my stop. I'm just punching out. I don't want to give back. Gave up about 7% of what we were up on Intel. But even without it breaking that, this is what I was looking at and staring down. And Nvidia was trying to curl. It breaks out. We punch out. Try to keep it simple. And I don't think, unless there's something on the imbalances, I don't know, what else I'll do. Tell everybody I am taking this. As you saw that 800,000 imbalance, I'm working into that thing. Well, I guess I didn't get a fill up there, but I'm into this. And you probably won't see like too much activity. If it comes out millions, then I'll probably just be building into one imbalance trade, maybe two. But that was a pretty solid bounce there on Nvidia. It's enough to want me to get out and play for some kind of imbalance trade. It was huge volume. That's the other thing. That's like double barrel, big green candles. Not the biggest candles of the day, but a couple of big candles there, which you got to have a good charting platform to make sure you see those.
All right, this time we'll do the read. Traders, listen up. Your first month. And look, no more important time. So, okay, I'm not doing the read. I'm just going off cuff again. No more important time to get e-signal than right now, as we have tons of earnings, many different markets. Make sure you do get entitled immediately to whatever markets you want, because e-signal has that data for you. Readily available e-signal, the best spot for you to go for your needs. Again, we talked about Taiwan Semi coming tomorrow in the AM. Get it off e-signal. We are waiving that first month free. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to an elite charting experience. Capitalize on this platform. It has everything. Infinite data, instant trading. It has those hot lists that we just talked about. Back testing, game changing. If you don't have reliable charts, take a look at e-signal. If you don't trust yours, some people worry about the lines, this and that. This is an all-in-one platform. We've talked about this with Joe, looking at the options change. He stamped that. Execute your best trades. I do hear Adara in my ear, either singing or humming. So great job there. As we go, no worries. That's nice.
Kind of delightful.
It's nice to hear that.
It's delightful.
I was humming something. So thank you. That one. I don't know where she went. Maybe she's just running around here. Adara and Neil, get ready
prepping for the aftermarket.
Yeah, exactly. Getting ready for the aftermarket show again. It's not the earnings bonanza that starts really next week, where it is going to be the #1 spot.
Put up or shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Put up or shut up week now. Well, again, I wish this market was more earnings based. I'm not sure it's going to be. I think it's obviously important that we follow earnings, and you don't want to.
It's true.
It's just like ASML, right? We were all cruising. Everybody was pretty happy with how far it was down today. And then I magically said, if you rewind the clock to 8:30 or whatever we talked about it, I said, I think ASML will be down 8%. It was down 8% at its lows. I randomly picked that number because it was 4% when we came in. And I said, that doesn't sound like it's low enough. And then unfortunately, ASML, more pain in that trade today. And, what were their earnings that bad? They missed both sides of it, but with
the bookings number was.
Yeah, with the guide is the problem. And I can't really see many of these companies having great guides. So,
but look at UAL.
Yeah, what is UAL doing?
Oh, never
probably
mind.
got killed.
Oh,
my guess.
It was okay. Never. I hadn't pulled it up since the morning. So
yeah, good point, Neil. Look at UAL, says Neil.
When I did this with GDX and gold, it ended up working out brilliantly because what I was sort of getting at ended up being true. UAL doesn't hold. No, but the point is, It was more about the guidance.
Yeah.
They just decided to give you two guidances and say, which one do you like? They gave you a recession scenario, and they gave you a if things are normal scenario, and said, we toss our hands up. This is what we think if things just get better, and this is what we think if the worst happens, which is not bad. I think that's pretty reasonable on their part.
I just want to give a heads up, and because we're in a new position, that's what just hit there. It's JP Morgan. So there it is, man. I knew there was something I wanted to look at. We traded this yesterday. We're long at 228 quarters. It literally just popped in 30 seconds ago when I hit that announcement. We get something out there at 40. We take 15 cents. I know it's small. There we go. We take 56 cents. Let's go, man. Sean, you only trade tech names, really? Here goes JP Morgan right now, climbing up the ladder of profitability here today as JP Morgan. Oh boy, this is another one. Can we get it one more time? What's up, DJ? He's in the building right now.
Another one.
We'll see if we can get
another one.
I don't know. JP Morgan, there's the dip buy right there. And I just I was here before this wick. We were trying to buy it into this. So there it goes, man. A nice little long here for JPM. We did buy it. It is moving. It's starting to go downside or upside on JP Morgan. I just looked at it and I was like, let me find something. I should have. Oh, yes, sir. This happened to me yesterday. So all of a sudden right there, now goes JP Morgan. So Jamie A. Company, thank you so much for this. But I don't know, he has nothing to do with this move. But there it goes. It's 55 cents right there again. Yeah, you were right there. What's up, Mr. Easy Street? This is what it is. It is a bang-bang situation. So bang, bang, says Mick Foley. Bang, bang. Already right there. It's a 75-cent banger. So we talked about this, right? Found the stock. There it is, man. We go 3 for 3 today. We have this name in our pocket. It's JP Morgan. It's 75-cent winner, and it is a minute and a half right there. So there we go again. You know, we talk about trading. We talk about all this kind of stuff, and there's one for you right now as well. JP Morgan. There we go. Get out a little bit there at 85. So now we have 35% left. So we got it at 2/3 on this move up, because if we're going to get that price and it's going to go down to the 50-period moving average, why do we have it there, right? There's the next top right there as well. So all is good, man. We do get stuffed out of our TQ's position for just a ho-hum trade right there. TQ's nicely cooked to the downside out of that one, out of our Apple and into the banks. Can we get $1 on that one? $9 total on Apple. I don't know what that was on the Qs, 2 or 3 right there. And then now we're back into JP Morgan, not back into it for the first time. Let's see if we can make a little happy time ending here. That didn't sound good. Happy ending still doesn't sound good. Can we have a good ending to today's trade? It looks like JP Morgan is giving us that opportunity.
I thought that was okay. It depends on where your mind goes with that. So great trade over there. As I said, I'm just going to be in this ML that you can see here.
Oh,
so I'm sitting in it. It's as long as it comes out a sell, it's almost 1 million shares. It's a pretty thinly traded stock. It's done less than that. When you look at the imbalance, it matters how much liquidity is available to offset any kind of an imbalance. So it's not huge, 800,000 shares, but it's only done 500,000 shares on the day. So that's what I like about it. UiPath is still the only thing looking remotely interesting in terms of an actual large number. But that's nothing. It's like 3 million shares to the buy side, and UiPath is, really, it was just tanking all day with the rest of the market. There's an offer on, Nvidia, 180,000, is that right? 180, where'd you go? There you are. 150, they're about to hit this.
SSR, is it SSR?
Yes.
See, there you go, that's why.
So what I was going to get at is, when it's going to the downside, people can't hit the bid. So they were just chasing it down because you can't hit the bid to go short, so you have to get on the offer. I'm going to sneeze in a second. You have to get on the offer, and they were chasing it down, but they just filled it in one shot. So you'll see large offers when it's SSR chase it down until they get an uptick, and then it'll get filled in a single shot. If you catch it early enough, which I only saw it when they were filling it, so I'm not punching short as they're filling that order. If you can try to get like midpoints and dark pools while they're chasing it, it is possible. And then you can get in front of an order like that. Sometimes you can pick up a fill. I just heard we might go to Adara. So I'm just waiting for the imbalances here. Bart Simpson, imbalances are absolutely available on eSignal. You can look at them. Everything's entitlement based on eSignal. So I'm sure you have to actually go get the entitlement. And it's as long as you have level 2, then you should be have the ability to get entitlements for the imbalance locator. We have it here at Real Trading for free, just piped into our system. Let's go to Adara at the desk.
Keep an eye here on BULL. This is the second afternoon in a row that Charles Gasparino, frequent Fox business contributor, has posted on X about certain senators trying to get Webull here, I guess, delisted and put some pressure there on the SEC. Today, it's Senator Tuberville, again, as reported by Charles Gasparino on X, basically saying once again that Webull's ties to China, which have to do with the company that essentially runs it, should be investigated because they have national security implications. Also, I guess Tuberville calling on SEC to, quote, aggressively review the matter. The CEO has denied the allegations, and apparently we have Charles Gasparino speaking more about this right now on Fox Business. So it is worth noting a little bit of bias here, of course, in that Charles Gasparino is reporting on this story pretty actively. And it mostly just seems to be different takes by senators. But regardless, SEC apparently could be pressed to look into Webull if the senators continue. Back to you.
Man, what's the beef with Bull, you know? JP Morgan, we just took some more out there at 229. We'll see if we can get going even further. I am waiting at 229.23 to give you that entry into the heralded club. So we'll see if we can get that dollar. We are waiting for those imbalances to come out, and if they do, they do. But there it is. You can see it right there on the chart. This is only my third symbol of the day. We traded Apple short, we traded the Nasdaq short, and now we trade JP Morgan long. So I posted that all up there on Twitter. You guys can go have a quick little look there as well. But yeah, Webull, okay, there's a nice little move down. So I got out of more. I just got out of some else there at 229. So we are now into about a third left of JP. So hopefully, actually a little bit less than that. Let's call it 30% or so. Yeah, okay, so there's the move. Not much happening right there as well. HTZ, I heard Hertz was doing something today as well. So we can have a quick look on that.
It was Bill Ackman.
Yeah, so just now, huge move up on Hertz just now. So there it goes right here. Good move up there, if there is anything. I mean, Adara's been talking
this
about...
morning it was Ackman increased his stake. That was this morning, man. I don't know what's moving it here. That's insane.
Hertz,
there's got to be something new.
I'm just checking out. I don't
see anything
open or anything like that.
I have TweetDeck open. I don't see anything.
Yeah, here we go. Here's a Benzinga. This is what I have. We have something about Pinterest here. Other than that, yeah, just there's the Charles Gasparino. Adara's already the best. Like, I don't even need to do anything. That's why I don't even look anymore at news. I just sort of sit there, wait until Adara finds something, which she already did. So there you go. I'll worry about the trading, as you guys can see, and we'll leave the news reporting there to Adara. If I do hear something in my ear, obviously I will repeat it and try to figure out what I think it means for the stock. But for right now, do you want to go over there? Yep. Okay. No problem. Adara is looking more into that for us.
We can see that you have the price action up though.
Yeah. The price action is right here. It looks like again up 30%. You do have some size trying to follow this around right now on Hertz. So you could see the size is more on the ask than on the bid. So traders trying to get out, but it's getting eaten up, man. 40 million shares. All just a quick little level 1 action or level 2 action here. These are all 100 shares. So it's not, you have to see a real big number for it to influence a stock, because you have done 41 million shares on the stock today. So that's just 20,000. Like if you're trading options or anything like that, to get 20,000, there it goes. I was gonna say worth of shares. I'm not even sure what that would look like here on this name, but there it goes. Nice upside move anyways at the end of the day here on Hertz. We'll see if there's any sort of size. We can scroll down. We don't have all the levels here, but we can scroll around and figure out where they are. But right now, Hertz getting back up to $5. It hurts so bad it's good today if you're long. So there goes Hertz. Nice move higher into the close.
Must be nice.
We've sort of zoomed
Say you're
out.
Buying it and then get 30%.
Yeah, we saw that yesterday with somebody as well on whatever that was. Yes. Oh, it wasn't MPP. That's there was a stock yesterday that someone was buying. The stock was in a world of hurt, but he's anyways, whatever it is. But that's the activism world, right? I mean, they buy stocks that are down. They try to get a board seat. They try to figure it all out. And at the end of the day, it's allowed. And so just try to follow the money around. It's kind of like, that's why I asked you about Trump. It's like,
hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah, if he tweets again or truths again about, wow, this market's getting a little bit too far to the downside. If it pops another 10%, then I don't know what to do. But there it is, man. It hurts now.
Another high now.
Popping. Pershing Square was just earlier today on that. So. Yep. Okay. So only 30 seconds to go until the imbalances, and at that point, we'll go over those, and then we'll grab Adara for that story. So far so good here on that. This is what it looks like right now on those imbalances as we wait to see. Why did Honey just pop up on my computer? I don't know. I'll have to say.
Honey?
Yeah, the Honey, the ad thing.
For PayPal? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Doesn't Honey is owned by PayPal? There we go.
Isn't it?
Just a couple seconds left.
All right, here we go.
Until the imbalances.
Nvidia's 8 million to the buy side.
Booyah.
That's the first thing I saw. Obviously, that's big. Okay, so Apple 1.2 million, AMD 1.6 million, Tesla 1.1 million, Amazon 1 million, but Nvidia at 8 million. Yeah, I'd say that one takes the cake. Shoot, I was still on Hertz. Nvidia, it's obviously moving on, screaming on that. This might be a chance for that flip trade. So eyeballs at 355 or just before 355 with an imbalance this big at 8 million, you might see a bit of a flip event in the next 4 minutes. I mean the imbalancing getting paired off or going into a sell in a general sense because you're getting some resistance in here, obviously at VWAP or maybe 105. Let's go to Adara.
Here's Pinterest. It looks identical to the market here. So I looked into this story. The headline basically was from the information saying, quote, Pinterest went on acquisition hunt to fulfill ad dreams. The information a lot of the times will just kind of have these articles that summarize some things that a company has done as of late. As far as I could tell, pretty similar. It doesn't sound like any new acquisitions were necessarily announced or hinted at through this article, but it's from a paywall. From what I could find from the research I did into this on X and on my own, it does not sound like there was anything super new or earth-shattering revealed here in this article. Again, it just looks like the information getting a little bit more in depth into Pinterest acquisitions as of late. Now, let's take a look at HTZ Hertz. So Bill Ackman's Pershing Squares apparently has a 19.8% stake in Hertz. That makes them the second largest shareholder, and apparently their stake is a combination of shares and swaps. It's also worth noting, this is pretty interesting too, they actually received confidential treatment provision from the SEC, which allowed them to delay their filing. So Hertz, as you can see here, nicely to the upside pre-market. No news that I could find at the time, but yet now HTZ popping here as Bill Ackman's Pershing Square, second largest owner of the stock, 19.8% stake through both shares and swaps. So HTZ on watch, this is something definitely I want to look more into myself with regards to how this deal went through, but great look for Hertz as we head into the end of the day.
Well, you're not hurting if you bought that one. That's a low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, that's pretty low, but that's a good one there. Well, props it up for anybody that you're not hurting if you've been trading today, especially with some of these calls. We just got JP Morgan now at $1.40. Sorry, $1.15 right now. Looking to get that $1.40 to the upside rate underneath VWAP. Sorry, the 200 period moving average. But there goes JP Morgan. We bought the lows. And boom goes the dynamite. Now $1.25 in the money as someone sitting here trying to get something out in and around 50. Not a bad idea. Let me put something at 55. We'll see if we get that fill. Maybe we can even just cross down, take a fill. There we go. So we cross down, we take a fill there as well, as it looked like it just stopped there at 50. So you know what? Let's just put $1.25 in our pocket. We just tried to punch out. Now we're starting to get going. Let's just punch out. We just cross into that there. There it is. Good day. All right, so a good day here today for us as there goes JP Morgan. Traded in, out, boom. We tweeted that out as well, so there you go. What's up, Eduardo? Time again, a great level on Tesla. 234.50 says Eduardo on Tesla. What's up, Eduardo? Hope you're doing well. 234.50. Okay, wow, yeah, there it goes. One more time. Thanks, Eduardo, for that. It does look like it has a good look on it. We'll zoom back out tomorrow on that level, so I'm going to write that down, 234.50. We'll find out what that means. But I want to look at Nvidia here because there's the move back for my guy Joe. Nice move back upside there for Nvidia. It's still climbing into VWAP right now. I'd say short, but not against that imbalance. So, all right, Adara's got news. Let's go over.
Here is HTZ. I want to clarify this headline a little bit. So as I said earlier this morning, we had a lot of volume on this. There wasn't necessarily a story. So it looks like right before 8 a.m., it was initially reported through a 13F filing, or at least it was circulated here, that Bill Ackman's Pershing Square management did report a stake in the company. So here's the thing. It looks like through shares, they own roughly 4.1% of the company, as reported by Wall Street Journal. But they also have swaps. So through that aspect of their stake, apparently collectively, they have a 19.8% stake in the company. I just wanted to clarify that because there is a lot to do with this story. Again, this was reported actually pre-market, but just popped now due to the, I guess, the extent of the stake, 19.8% through shares and swaps. The other interesting thing, as mentioned earlier, too, is the fact that the SEC allowed them to report this later. So they delayed their filing of this 13F, showing their pretty significant stake in Hertz, which collectively makes it the second largest shareholder in Hertz. But before I send you back to the guys for the end of the day, we're going to take a moment to thank our friends at Trade the Pool. First, it was commission-free trading. Robinhood made that happen. But the next shift is even bigger. Limited risk trading. And Trade the Pool is rewriting the stock trading rules. Your only risk is a flat one-time fee, as low as $47. How is that possible? Well, you're trading the company's capital. No deposits are needed, no personal capital at stake. This is about breaking barriers, not your savings account. Just real opportunity without any fear. So scan that QR code to get 10% off and join tradethepool.com. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. And you might have just heard Sean said he was about to short Nvidia. Nvidia pared down to 1 million to buy, from 8 million to buy to 1 million to buy, and it goes right into VWAP here. Just come to the chart for a quick second. It goes right into VWAP. There was a pullback, trust me. Like it did when it paired off. It had wicked VWAP and then come back in. I said I would take this one and let you guys know, but it did come out. The one I was looking for came out to sell, but there was no opportunity to accumulate a position. I just had what I already had at the 30. So I bid some out. I'm just going to throw it into the auction and let this one go. We do have Kinder Morgan after the market tonight. KMI, it hasn't been good, but you never know. It has a crazy wick bottom. We do expect some volatility, obviously, in this kind of a market here. So any earnings name can be a parabolic runner for sure. But the big story today, thankfully, we're not closing at the lows. At least it seems like we're not closing on the lows. The big story today obviously had everything to do with Nvidia, had to do with the charge that they're taking, the 5 point potentially having to pay. I mean, ultimately, we'll see how it plays out. You could get a news story tomorrow that we've cracked a deal with China and everything is honky-dory, and all of a sudden Nvidia doesn't have to worry about the $5.5 billion, and then we're probably at $120. That'd be great, but that's not the world we live in today. We live in a 7% down on Nvidia day and a 3% down in the Nasdaq day. So all you can do is try to go short. It was great being short over there. I got to get to the desk here, but great shorts all day long. Good luck into the close, everybody. The market doesn't want to close on the low.
True.
But it's kind of a dead cat bounce today, everybody. We'll cover that and more. And give us some questions. If there's something we're not covering during the day, I want to hear about it.
Right.
Talk more about this sector or that sector. I know we dismiss energy oftentimes and don't look at that.
Well, you can deal with this or you can deal with that.
You can deal with this
or you can deal with that.
Don't make me do engine number 9 up in here.
I almost made you.
I'll be here to the
okay,
if
so yeah, good. Get over there, my guy. All right, so I just want to show you guys. You know, we did have that JP Morgan long. We stopped out. We didn't stop out of it. We punched out. It's too bad because we go all the way up to $230 right there on JP Morgan from our long at 228 quarters. So that's an absolute monster there at the end of the day for JP Morgan, and I like trading that name, especially when it gets to like extreme levels. We'll try to look at that tomorrow. Good long there at the end of the day. Let's just review. This is why you got to stop out when levels are broken, right? There's your 50-period moving average. Boom. Nice out there on Apple at 193.30s, right? Now it's 194.40. It does make sense to hold things into the close sometimes, but not for me, as there you go all the way to the downside there as well, and then all the way back up. Look at the TQs, man, getting out at 44. Now we're at 45.30. The Nasdaq was down 4 and change. Not anymore right now. As you can see, it's a nice battle back here for the name and for the stock. TQs, of course, that being the Nasdaq. So just with a couple more minutes to go, 3:58. We want to give a big shout out to Bears vs. Bulls. Thank you so much for being here with us every single day. Everybody that's been in the chat supporting us, midday show, this PM show, AM. We're back every single day live at 8:30. So join us then. We'll break down all of the potential trades. We'll talk about trades we like. We'll talk about trades we don't like. We'll talk about the earnings plays. We'll talk about ASML. Everything that reports, we'll talk about that tomorrow morning. So yeah, good day so far with only less than now 1 minute to go. Let's see where Tesla ends the day today. Wow, nice battle for Tesla. You were 100% right in the chat there about 234. That looks like it's a good level there. 234 for Tesla. So, yeah, let's just, keep the good vibes going. Adara's going to be ringing the bell, and then join us after hours tonight for the recap show where it's earnings time. We mentioned that there's not going to be huge amounts of earnings plays today, but there'll still be a few. So join Adara and Neil here tonight as they look to make those, that information for you. So, all right. There it is. Less than 8 seconds left. All right, Adara, let's ring that bell. 3, 2. There it is. Thank you. That closing bell, as per usual, is brought to you by the Work Sport, which is WKSP there on the Nasdaq. Go check out Work Sport. Thank you so much to everybody for joining us one more time here today. Bears vs. Bulls, Ramin, Fabian, Brendan, Sharif, Joe, the whole crew, man. We're here every day. How we keep the energy levels up? Probably caffeine, but I love being here. We're going to be back tomorrow. Let's give it over to the recap show if they're ready. It looks like they are ready. So, yes, they're ready. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow. Until then.
Thank you very much, Sean. And wow, what a day it was. It hurt if you were long today. It hurt if you were buying the dips. It hurt if you went long when Powell was taking the podium there. But I guess it didn't hurt if you were long Hertz. So that's my segue. Welcome to the Profit X Recap Show, everybody. Look, it's a sea of red. I get it. No one's going to be happy with a day like today. I mean, look at Hertz, up 57% there. That's crazy. But it's a sea of red. Unless you're looking at, hey, energy not bad. Gold to the upside. Volatility to the upside. But the Nasdaq taking it on the proverbial chin today. Down 3 points. And it all started, this whole topsy-turvy day, Adara, started out with Nvidia and their $5.5 billion potential charge that they would possibly incur in Q1, their Q1 for 2026. That took them down 7%. You had ASML reporting this morning. It was all about their guide. It wasn't great. It was a miss. And unfortunately for ASML, that dragged the rest of the chips down as well. So it was a lot of pressure. Whether you're looking at AMD down 7.5%. We already showed you Nvidia down 7 points. Broadcom, actually not that bad for Broadcom, only down 2%, but I mean everything to the downside. And it's just across every single sector. The Chinese names bled a little bit here today. Down 2 points over there on FXI. And when you look at that, ooh, I like the weekly look on there. It's too bad I'm not bullish on China because that would be a buy down there. But I'm not, so I'm not taking it. I can tell you that much. You got to be patient when it comes to all of these plays. The only earnings name we have, Adara, is, well, the big name, I suppose, would be Kinder Morgan. But there's someone else. Alcoa also reports. And I was telling Adara, I remember back in the day when Alcoa meant it was the start of earnings season. But we've already had the banks. We're going to get Netflix later this week. We got Kinder Morgan. We have a lot to unpack for the day that we just saw. And anybody, if you have any questions, if there's a sector that we're not doing a good enough job of covering, or maybe something's moving and we're not always getting to it here. I know we talk a lot about the futures and Bitcoin. We talk about the crypto, small cappers that are going, all the big cap tech gets covered. We try to talk a little energy for you guys, even though it's not really heavily traded here. But if there's something out there, then let us know. But a heavy red day here, Adara. That hurts at the end of the day is just wild because it was old news from the morning and an interesting way to pump it up in the afternoon. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk about that in a second, but first I want to talk about the amazing moment where this man, Fed Chair Jerome Powell, quoted this man, fictional character Ferris Bueller, as played by Matthew Broderick. So you might be like, Adara, what are you talking about? What does that mean? Well, during his prepared remarks today for the Economic Club of Chicago, Fed Chair Powell, I guess, and this is how he worded it as well. He wanted to quote a Chicagoan, so he quoted a fictional one by the name there of Ferris Bueller, and he said, life can move pretty fast. With that in mind, Fed Chair Powell said, we have to make sure we're slowing down and we have clarity on everything before we move rates too quickly. So did you ever think you'd get Fed Chair Powell quoting Ferris Bueller? I certainly did not, but hey, I guess it was not Jerome Powell's day off today. And it certainly was maybe a day off for the Bulls, Ferris Buller's day off, because the Bears really took over. So the Bulls did get a little bit of juice back at the end of the day. Let's talk about Hertz now, though. So I made this joke in the chat. Honestly, like if you're Bill Ackman right now, your favorite songs are probably Everybody Hurts and Uber Everywhere. Because I mean, come on, those are two recent buys of his. But so HTZ, here's the deal with HTZ. Initially here, we have that 13F filing, which again, really delayed, but we'll get to that in a minute because that's also part of this very twisty story. So HTZ here through a 13F filing, we see that Bill Ackman, our pal there, has announced with his Pershing Square, they have a stake in the company. It's about a 4.1% stake, I believe. That's fine. We get a little bit of a pop. And it's weird too, Neil. I want to mention this as well. I saw Hertz moving pre-market. I looked and I couldn't find any catalyst for it. But that's because that was about an hour before we got the story. So there were I think people knew.
Oh, of course.
Ahead of time because there was tons of volume in this that was unexplained prior to that announcement. I just want to put that out there. And I did look into this.
I can 100% concur with that because I know I was here at the same time.
Yeah,
and by the time we knew what had happened, it was already, busting out another 20% to the upside.
Well, it was already one of the volume leaders before we knew what would happen. And I think that's the big thing I really want to emphasize with HTZ. So then, we get this move into the close. That's because on CNBC, we actually hear, with his swaps, in addition to his shares, now Bill Ackman and Pershing, they actually have a 19.8% stake in the company combined. So again, 4% equity, 19.8% total. That makes Pershing the second largest holder of Hertz. We get that push to the upside. Also, they got a fun little exemption that allowed them to have a delay with their 13F filing from the SEC, and that's why we got this so late. So that's, I guess, a couple pieces of the story here for HTZ. But yeah, I mean, honestly, Neil, my favorite catalyst from the day will still be Jerome quoting Ferris Bueller, because I'm sorry, if anyone had that in their bingo card for 2025, you are either a soothsayer or you are lying. Also, Kinder Morgan earnings just came out.
Yep.
Adjusted earnings per share here, 34 cents, slightly missing estimates of 35. Sales, 4.24 billion, well beating estimates here of 4.08 billion. So again, sales beat, EPS miss for KMI, and thank you all for sitting through my Hertz / Jerome Powell rant right now.
No, well, you can kind of tell with Mr. Powell, you're at the tail end. You just don't care. Like he's got that, whatever. I'm gonna be on the way out. I'm gonna have a little bit of fun doing it. So good on him. The market did not like what was the market did not like what was going on with what he was saying at all. But in terms of Kinder Morgan, it's been under pressure here, unfortunately. The pipeline company, Nat Gas, anytime you have concerns of recession, it's just not going to be good for demand for energy. So while some Nat Gas names had been doing a little bit better, let me just go to the daily chart here. It had been doing much, much better recently. You've broken back down, and you're actually threatening here on KMI on these earnings to lose that 50 period, which you just got back there yesterday. You just got back to the 50 period on the daily, and it looks like we're heading underneath. Not a lot of price action. You were already at the low of the day, so it was already down a couple of points. The expected move, you have to remember this, KMI is not going to be like some 20% mover. The expected move was only 4%. And the previous move was 1%, and you came into this down almost 2 points. So, yeah, it's not looking that great, but I don't think it's going to be that kind of crazy doom and gloom for KMI. All I want to say, just to go back to Hertz, obviously this is moving around a lot. It's actually holding near $6 in the aftermarket here. It's a 39% short flow. I saw someone in the chat say, short all of Bill's buys, Bill Ackman. Let's just throw out there. There's a couple of things you got to be at least a little bit concerned with if you're trying to short this. As I said, 39% short float. And on the daily chart, this is it's not nothing, but it just made back in here at the beginning of the year, made a golden cross. So you got a flattening out of the 200 period, a flattening out of the 50, consolidating off both and breaking out technically. And then it broke out the local high here just now at 530. I think the dip buyers are looking at the $5 level, maybe even the 460 level, and looking for continuation. But it might just be you already got that consolidation and accumulation going in. So it's squeezing right now. And I get it, these types of things can fall back in, but that's dangerous. There's a lot of shorts that are caught off guard here. You can say whatever you want about the ability to get the extension on the 13F and the manner in which it pumped this afternoon and how and why. You a couple of mentions here and there. It's like, hey, we're not getting enough press. Let me in here to give you some update about the swaps that I got and see this thing squeeze. You can say whatever you want about all that. But at the end of the day, price action is price action, and it's squeezing. So if you're looking to short it, you better have a good plan of action. It's now 70% up, just cracked $6.40. It is still going higher and higher and higher over there on Hertz. But we promised we'd talk about some other things here. Farm Trader, I'm not hating on Bill Ackman. It's like, don't hate the player, hate the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
I hate his tweets. I'll be really honest about
you
that.
hate it? You do hate him?
Oh, no, I don't like his tweets. I dislike how long his tweets are. When you're trying to give news, same with some of Trump's longer Truth Socials. When you're trying to give news, it's a little bit hard to work through a Bill Ackman tweet. And if you guys have never seen a Bill Ackman tweet, just go and look at them, because a lot of the ones that he posts that move the market, they tend to be like this long. And here's the thing, too. Like, people will be like, oh, what did he say? And you're trying to read through it, but you're also, you know what I mean? You want to go to AI because you want to make sure you can summarize it yourself. But long story short, when he announced his Uber purchase on February 7th, 2025, which I just looked at, and actually, if you shorted that, you would be exactly flat because it's basically exactly where it was the day that he announced. But regardless, I remember there was a whole portion in that announcement that he's gotten into Uber where he's like, oh, well, my friend Edward Norton, famous Academy Award nominated actor, showed me Uber and I didn't believe. Like, there's a lot of name dropping. There's a lot of fanciful language. And no issue with him individually. I'm just saying his X post could do with a really, really good editor. That's my take. You know Edward Norton, get him to get you in contact with one of his Hollywood buddies. I don't know. One of a writer friend.
Oh, I'm sure he's got all the connections out there.
But then why is he getting an editor deal?
So, you know what, though? At least he's being him. He's doing his thing for sure. Some people are saying it wasn't an Ackman thing. They don't like the manipulation. I get that. No one out there is going to be in love with the fact that, some people have the ability to simply buy something. Hey, it's not getting enough press. Let's just get on camera and be able to pump it to the upside. That's the game. I can't pretend that I'm going to like it either. Norman's special, we said talk about some things that we maybe don't cover, and Norman's special says silver had a great day. We've been talking some silver. I told you gold was going to drag them up eventually. It's like they're just pulling it up by the bootstraps, right? So GLD up 3%, 3.25 today on GLD, breaking out some new highs. We'll get to GDX and why I think you saw some selling in GDX today. But silver, SLV, broke the 50 period on the daily, everybody. When you come out, we knew it was coming in here and giving us that breakout. It is now in the midst of that break to the fresh 52-week high for SLV. But we do have Alcoa out. Slight move up and then a pullback here at Darius. So Alcoa did get a couple of points, actually almost 3% to the upside. Pulling back a little bit here. They were the second earnings name that we had. First KMI, downside, but not a huge move. Alcoa up 4% now after hours.
Yeah, thank you guys also, guys, for the kind words, and I appreciate Darwin's Edward Norton reference there. Don't talk about Fight Club. Here is the Alcoa situation. So, I accidentally put AAA. So AA, not any anonymous organization, just Alcoa. They did report here Q1 adjusted earnings per share of $2.15, well above estimates of $1.70. Sales, though, bit of a miss. $3.37 billion versus estimates of $3.53 billion. So much like Kinder Morgan, we have where they beat on one metric and they miss on the other. However, KMI barely missed EPS estimates. This is a little bit more significant of a sales miss here for AA, and I'm just going to make sure I remember that correctly. Also, with KMI, the other thing I want to remind, yes, I was correct. So KMI just missed EPS. So it's interesting. They missed their EPS for Q1 by 1 cent. Their guidance for fiscal 2025 for EPS also misses by 1 cent. They're guiding $1.27. Analysts were looking for 1.28. So yeah, KMI missing it by that much, to quote Get Smart. Great classic show there. And yeah, Alcoa missing it by a little bit more, but nice EPS beat for AA. Yeah,
mixed bag there for Alcoa being up that 3 1/3, but I feel like you'll want it to be all good. It's a good sign for them that you get a mixed bag and you're still to the upside. And I'm not trying to be a hater, I'm just kind of pointing it out here. Sometimes even a mix can be positive because you've already gone down to the lows. So you broke a prior low, the 2023 December low got taken out, and you're consolidating right back above it. So maybe it's just run out of some sellers in here. This would be like a key 24 hold in the next couple of days, and maybe you've got a little bit of something for Alcoa. Here we go. Ben fishing. Got to get some fishing. Oh, we're into the spring. Everyone's got to be thinking about that. Prediction. Thank you for the super chat, Ben. We appreciate you. The NQ appears slightly more likely to close higher than it opens tomorrow, provided the economic data comes in favorably. Well, this is from Grok. Grok is giving predictions. We were trying to ask, Sean was trying to ask what the NQ was going to do tomorrow, and he asked Perplexity, I asked ChatGPT, and we couldn't get an answer out of it. If Grok is doing, that's a heck of a lot of fun. So maybe next time we're doing that, we'll just ask Grok. But yeah, probably don't make any buying and selling decisions based on whatever Grok says. If it works for you, great. But I wouldn't necessarily be thinking that. I know for myself tomorrow, remember it's a long weekend. So tomorrow is the final trading day of the week. Long weekend coming up in here. Trepidation a little bit today. You might get a bit of a relief rally. We've seen it happen before. My first thought is going to be if I find resistance to continue looking at shorts, especially the things that worked out really well. Like I still feel pretty bearish about China. They got good economic data and just trended down all day. So I think that works. We'll go back looking at some Alibaba. The chips were under a tremendous amount of pressure. Try to keep it relatively simple. Anything can change tomorrow morning. We can get data. We can get news overnight. Obviously, any tariff headline is going to be able to move us. There's no question about that. Harshil asking about what do I think about Netflix? I love me some Netflix. So it was a while back, but I was always trying to trim the amount of stocks I own in my long term, and I owned Disney for a long time, and I just ended up saying to myself, why is it that I'm not a huge fan of travel names and I don't invest in them, and I like Netflix more than Disney is an investment for streaming, so why do I even own Disney then? So I sold all my Disney and put it in, and added to my Netflix position, and it ends up working out well. Now the caveat here would be, I think they're going to have good numbers. I think relatively speaking, nobody's, I hate the term recession-proof, right? Like it's consumer spending, but I feel like it's the last cable that gets cut. I love what they're doing with the ad space. So many people like myself don't even care about what they pay to not even to worry about the monthly fee. But it's the last thing I would cut the cord from, and I know anecdotally from most of the people that I associate with, they say the same things. That said, it's not incredibly cheap. So I don't know, like I'm not a buyer up here. Let me just get that out of the way. I'm not a buyer up here on Netflix. I think you want to wait for the report to come out. And if it does dip back into the 200 period, it's already shown you the good down here at 800 and a quarter. It would seem extreme if you got there. I want them to split, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen. The $1,000 level could be a great breakout trade. I'm not sure we get a chance at that. It's likely to gap it for sure. But like I love Netflix. It's something, it's not my top priority to dip by because I already did make a pretty major addition to it, so I feel like I'm pretty well overweight on it. I like Meta. I think I'm underweight in my portfolio on Meta. I'm dip buying that sucker. That'd be one of the reasons why I'm not dip buying on Netflix, just for myself. But that's going to be a big earnings name. It's not going to move the market, but it is going to be a big reaction and a potential double-digit mover.
Yeah, we're not only in earnings season, Neil, we're in spready ticker earnings season. And why do I say that? Well, let's talk about what's reporting tomorrow. TSM, UNH, AXP, and then after the bell, we get Netflix. So please just punch. No, but in all seriousness, it is earnings season is always really good opportunity to trade a multitude of tickers. But if you like these ones that don't always get a lot of liquidity, you are in luck for the next, I guess, couple weeks, but especially like I saw this on the earnings schedule and I was like, oh my gosh, is it Christmas? Did Christmas come early? Did Christmas come 4 times a year? Because yeah, this is certainly going to be an earnings period. I will be looking at that as for sure. Also, speaking of spready tickers, Costco coming out with a catalyst today, announcing, you just saw this now coming through, put it in the chat, they've increased their quarterly dividend from $1.16 per share to $1.30. So Costco, again, not one that gets much volume at all, even from a spready ticker standpoint. COST is a little bit harder to intraday trade. Regardless, it is worth noting here, if you are a Costco holder, congratulations, your dividend increased on a quarterly basis by 14 cents per share. So shout out to you, congrats to you, and yeah, no matter what cost, it looks like COST is continuing in this little downtrend that we have been on in the 3-minute. But Back to Netflix a little bit here, Neil. Another level that I like on that. You mentioned 8.25. 857 has been, I know such a specific level, but at least on an intraday basis, that 857 level has been really key. 940, though, a little bit of a level as well. So those are, I think, two levels if you're kind of looking for potential areas of bounce, not advice, but just as someone who trades and charts that a lot. 857, 920, 940. That 940 breakout yesterday, I mean, yes, we had some good news on it in general, but I really do believe that 940 breakout was at least partially technical if you look at the daily chart for Netflix yesterday.
Yeah, fantastic. It's a great look. And look, Costco, that's another name I think should split. And I get it. Like, fundamentally nothing changes when you split. But hey, it makes the options game easier. It makes the cover call game a little bit easier for everybody out there. And as a day trader, it obviously makes it easier to trade. Who was trading Amazon when it was $2,200? On our trading floor, I think maybe let's just call it in a decade or so, I think there might have been 3 trades total in Amazon. Now Amazon gets traded all the time. It's just, that's the reason you want these splits, obviously. Shout out to you, Stevenson, ATN, and Alexander. Ooh, cost cookies at $10. $10? A good cookie. Stevenson, ETN, thanks for the great risk management words. Been on a losing streak since Friday. Finally break the cycle today. 14K loss trade at Nvidia, SPY, SPX, and QQQ for the win. That's what it's all about. Just find what's working for you. Just manage your risk accordingly, and just try to deliver the goods. Trading is not going to be easy, so you have to sort of find where your edge happens to be. You don't know. Like, Dara likes stocks at a higher price and spready tickers, and that might be where your edge is. And for another trader, it might be small cap names, and for others, it might be just simply trading the futures. Maybe it's Forex. I don't know. But the thing about trading is to find that edge and just make sure you hammer down on it and make sure that you have a plan of action for sure. So all great points in the chat. We appreciate you guys. If you got any more questions, let us know. I see this here, AOB FL. Is it a good time to buy right now? Miss the dip. And then someone else said they regretted not buying Netflix at $250. Always understand your time frame. And I'm just going to use the Netflix example because that just came up, and maybe I'll throw to a weekly chart. If you like a stock for the deep long term and you just want to own it forever because you like the company, then you don't want to be too picky about where you buy it. Like, to me, if you miss $250, like, I'll tell you, I like when a stock dips like this, I like buying in here after you've regained the 50-period moving average. So I don't mind missing the bottom by like 60%. I don't care. If we go back into an uptrend, I'm a buyer there. I'm a buyer when you start holding and breaking away from the 200-period moving average. I don't mind missing out and buying it in the 480. I like buying on the uptrend, and if I'm trying to buy on the downtrend, I wait quarter by quarter, key price levels, something that changes fundamental in the company, but just try to get it in. And that's what you do. Just try to be able to get it in. And to answer the question, do I think now is a good time to buy? We've said this over and over again. I know if you watch the morning show in the midday, in the afternoon, you probably heard it a lot. I'm not bullish enough to say this is where I'm putting all my bullets in for this year. No, I'm not. I'm waiting for names to report. I bought some ARM recently. Great. It's because I wanted ARM at that price. But ultimately, I'm going to be waiting. I'm going to be waiting on Meta. I'm going to be waiting on my next buy in the index after we get through earnings season. That's just how it is for me because we are a headline away from all systems go again. But until we see that, my patience is still on for the long term. I think we're in for a little bit longer of a haul here. We're not getting out of our way. The bond market's not telling me anything that makes me feel honky-dory about things here or there. So I'm just being patient and prudent, enjoying the volatility for the day trading game while being patient in our long term.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is we have some IPOs. We've had Bull. That was Webull. That was of course a de-SPAC situation or a business combination. But someone in the chat here, I'm going to check who it was asking about one of the IPOs we have tomorrow. Let me figure out who this individual was that asked me. But I need to go figure out who that. I just have to close this poll so I can check this. Regardless, we have a couple IPOs tomorrow. Oh, it was MLN asking about AIRO, this IPO. So there are 3 IPOs that are set to happen tomorrow. And they're varying sizes. So EDHL, by far the smallest. Everbright Digital Holdings. That's the offering amount here, 8.6 mil. Then we get to AIRO. That's the second biggest IPO we have tomorrow. Arrow Group Holdings, all three are debuting on the Nasdaq, but AIRO offer amount $92 million. But then we get to the big boy, CHA. Shoggy Holdings. I apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Shoggy. Either way, this one here, almost $500,000 offer amount. So $474 million offering. That, like, AIRO looks minuscule in comparison to that. So CHA, EDHL, AIRO for context as well. EDHL, they're pricing $4 to $5. AIRO, $14 to $16. CHA, $26 to $28. So this could be a pretty big day tomorrow for IPOs. Something to be aware of, that is for sure.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about it, Adara, and the smaller ones on those IPOs, sometimes those are the ones that go the most ham. And we've seen this before. Like CoreWeave was a great long. If you traded CoreWeave, I'm not complaining in iota about the move that we saw in CoreWeave on day one. And it's actually not doing too bad. It's not doing too bad recently. Like you would have expected sometimes an IPO. Why do we have a weekly up? We just go back to a daily for everybody. Yeah, sometimes you'd expect with the market doing what it is. CoreWeave would already be underneath its IPO price, but the squeeze and like just crazy price action is really happening on the smaller ones often. Like think about, Webull was a SPAC, but think about what happened over there in Bull. Sometimes because there's not a lot of shares issued, you get that bigger and better move because there's just not that much out there. You can soak up the flow. You can get more squeeze action. So don't sleep on those. If that's your cup of tea, if you're a small cap trader or you're someone that trades the runners, then it might be for you to look at some of these smaller IPOs as they've come out because we've seen some of them be absolute bangers, no question about it. We did get another super chat here. It's already 4:25. But look, Ben Fishin, I can promise you this, and I can tell without even asking, I know Adara probably has been paying more attention to the testimony that's going on with Meta. I get the Coles notes when I do my reading in the morning. Thoughts on the Meta whistleblower testimony. So in a general sense, and I've said this before, I tend to not get terribly concerned with big cap tech being in the eyeballs of the regulators. We just keep seeing it 99 times out of 100 that you end up getting a lot of talk about breakup and a lot of talk about this and that, and then you just get you get a slap on the wrist, and then you get to move on. And to me, what happened yesterday is what I expect to happen tomorrow in a general sense. So until that changes, then I'm not terribly worried about it. And that's just been my attitude for years when it comes to the Mag 7 names. And I'll continue to hold that true until it gets proven otherwise. It's just the world we live in, man. Like if you thought the banks were going to get punked for the financial crisis, well, then you missed a great buying opportunity. I'm just saying, it is what it is when it comes to that. So I'm not terribly concerned with it. I get it. You do have some explosive stuff coming out of there, but for me, it's not dissuading me from looking to buy this quarter on Meta. It's going to be price action that matters for me in that regard. I'm buying it regardless of the outcome.
Yeah, I want to clarify before we get to that, because I do want to address that. JP Morgan coming out here with some scary revenue decline estimates for our friends AMD and Nvidia. So JP Morgan estimating that Nvidia's revenue could take a $15 to $16 billion hit in 2026 due to China export restrictions. So they're really expecting about 8 to 10% of its expected revenue to take a hit. Then we have AMD. JP Morgan saying that's going to take a $1.5 to $1.8 billion revenue hit. They're expecting that to be the EPS impact here of about 10%, and then revenue impact of about 10% for 2025. So JP Morgan does not really have a great outlook here for AMD or Nvidia when it comes to revenue. They also mentioned, again, EPS for AMD as well being impacted, which from what I've seen of this note, they didn't say about Nvidia. We have another super chat here before I get to the most recent one. David Treziak, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Peace and love, patience and profit to all. Thank you, everyone. Well, how succinct, how awesome. Thank you so much, David, for that super chat. Now, I want to talk about the Meta whistleblower thing. So I think you're talking about Sarah Wynne Williams. To my knowledge, I just looked this up to check. She has not yet testified at the FTC trial. She testified for Congress, I believe, last week. And she had that book come out, which actually I've heard was not that good. I'm sorry to hate.
Oh, really?
Apparently, the issue was just like everything she said was things that people already knew. But anyways, no hate to Sarah Wynne Williams. I have not read the book. I cannot comment that much about the testimony. Truthfully, I've been following the FTC trial a bit more than I've been following the Sarah Wynne Williams situation. Even then, the FTC trial, you get to see the headlines, you get to read through the headlines, but there's not necessarily, like, if we could watch the whole trial, like Law and Order, I'd be so down. But that's you don't always really get that opportunity, right? Furthermore, one thing from the FTC trial that did come out that I'd love to talk about, Zuckerberg, I guess I believe it was an email or text back in 2018, he expressed some concerns that the FTC could get them with regards to their Instagram acquisition specifically, and said that that's something they might have to deal with before they get investigated. So that could come back to bite them. At the very least, he was aware of it, but he did make a pretty good point in that TikTok and YouTube are all very competitive, right? Snapchat, very competitive. So his argument is, yes, obviously we have a lot of products. Are we a monopoly? Are we the only ones in this space? A fat no.
Well, what's crazy is I literally, you can't even see this, but my wish list on Audible, I had just added Careless People, that book, my wish list, because I was considering, hey, maybe I should listen to it, I'll get some, and now you've told me it's not that good, or you're hearing it's not that good.
It wasn't. The reviews I read were not great.
If I hear too much more of that, then I'll maybe get away from it. But look, I like this. You're on the train. I think it's an interesting listen. I don't think it's going to affect how I feel terribly about Meta unless it's something completely out of left field. But it is already 4:30. Wow. You know what we do around here on your Profit X Market Recap Show. At this time, we try to get a little bit of roll call action in there. Dara, feeling good for some roll call?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do some roll call. If you want to get your name read out in the chat, then you need to make sure that you hit that subscribe button, everybody. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, get in there. Thank Fabian, Ramin, Andre, the boys on the midday crew. There's Fabian right there with the killer flow. We got Sharif, we got Joe, my man Sean. Actually, he just left. He was going through some charts, I imagine. He just took off. Brendo, Adara, the entire team. For sure, Bianca, who we have now doing some social as well. So that's what it's all about. And also thank Bears versus Bulls, the best moderator in the business. But get your name in that, and let's do some roll call.
Thank you so much, Bears versus Bulls. Thank you to Ben Fishing and David Treziak for the super chats. But yeah, Bears versus Bulls, really, you're here every single day. So thank you very much for being here with us. Thank you to Fabian, Ramin, Andre, Bianca, Neil, Sean, Joe, Sharif. We have Obi, who's not here today, but oh boy. And we have Brendan, and we have Jonathan Davis, Brendan Works, Sebastian Etienne, or sorry, not Sebastian, Stevenson Etienne, BKM Trader Venato, Neil Roberts, I Appreciate. We have Nicole, Sir Poopy Paper Hands, Normal Specials, Save Man, Woman, Peace, Pillsbury, Vincent Fisher, Matthew Elliott, Bush Conception. We've got Bilbo Bagholder, I love that name. Pop LaCork, love that one too. Sean Finds, Never Always Ever, Crypto Trucker, So Many Beats, Normal Special Beat, Bear Slayer, NYC Urbanista, Ron Miller, Andy Fischella, Mean Gene, 1980, Brendan Townsend, 8 Too Much, E64 or E46 Daily Drive, Hansby, and Profits. Profits is a great one to end with, in my humble opinion. So we're going to see you guys tomorrow, hopefully making some profits. Last day of the trading week, because it is a holiday shortened week. But does that mean we'll have a shortage of trading opportunities? I suspect not.
Oh, absolutely not. Not with the volatility that we have when you're ending the week, when you got options expiration, when you have a long weekend coming in, and you have got this type of volatility, there's going to be action. And we'll be right there, 8:30 tomorrow morning. Why? Because we're Trader TV Live. We're the only trading show out there that you need. We'll see you guys. Rest up, buckle up. It's going to be a fun one. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, pretty much.